I'm Debbie Monterrey, and authorities say multiple people are dead in an assisted living home fire in Massachusetts.
I'm Scott Jagow. More rain hampers search efforts in flood-ravaged Texas.
Lambert Airport bustling with travelers trying to get out of town yesterday.
A man who says he was slapped by an opposing player at a Battlehawks game is suing.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Clouds will give way to some sun today with a stray afternoon thunderstorm, high 85.
I'm Joe Pott. All's well that ends well for the Redbirds as they outlast the Braves and the weather yesterday at Busch Stadium. I've got highlights coming up in sports.
At the Tone, it's 6 o'clock in Mid-America.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A heartbreaking scene in Fall River, Massachusetts, where flames swept through an assisted living facility last night, killing multiple people. WPRI TV's Joe Cortez.
It's a very slow and meticulous process right now. They have bodies that are still inside. There are multiple windowsills that have been blown out, and there is smoke covering the outside of the windowsills now.
Say some residents were hanging from those windows when firefighters arrived, screaming for help. Mayor Paul Coogan.
A lot of these people needed assistance just getting out of the building, and a 5-star effort got as many people out as we could.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. There's new flooding in Texas, where teams were forced to pause their search for 166 people still missing in the catastrophic July 4th floods. KRLD's Chris Fox from Austin.
3 to 9 inches of additional rain Sunday led to flash flood alerts and watches throughout central Texas. Governor Greg Abbott said the Swift Water Rescue Team, Texas Task Force 1, made dozens of rescues in Lampasas County, that's just over 100 miles northeast of Kerrville, which also saw 3 inches of rain, halting search and recovery efforts till Monday.
President Trump is expected to dial up the pressure on Vladimir Putin and announce plans today to send more defensive weapons to Ukraine.
We basically are going to send them various pieces of very sophisticated military, and they're going to pay us 100% for them.
Mr. Trump is facing calls from congressional Republicans and Democrats to support a bill that would sanction countries that continue to purchase oil from Moscow. The former president is defending himself against accusations his aides were the ones who decided on reduced prison sentences and pardons for thousands of people before he left office. CBS's Wendy Gillette.
Former President Biden told the New York Times he orally granted all pardons and commutations, refuting Republican claims that his staff carried them out without his authorization because he was cognitively impaired. I made every decision, he told the Times, and said he used an auto pen because of the sheer number of people he was pardoning.
2 first-time Wimbledon champs basking in the glow of victories.
It's Jannik Sinner's time to shine.
Men's world number 1 Sinner beat 2-time defending champ Carlos Alcaraz on ESPN to take his first title at the All England Club. Sinner lost his last 5 matches to the Spaniard, including last month's French Open. On Saturday, Iga Swiatek crushed American Amanda Anisimova. Dow futures down 127. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
At 6:03, it is mostly cloudy and 72 downtown at the Gateway Arch. It is Monday, July 14th. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. Long wait times greeted travelers at Lambert Airport yesterday morning.
Those departing from St. Louis from the Seventh-day Adventist Convention clogged security lines at Lambert. Airport Director Rhonda Hamnabrugi tells KMOX people arriving hours earlier than necessary contributed to the long lines.
We did see a lot of people that had afternoon flights that came out early this morning. And so just trying to cram that large of an amount into a small window, unfortunately.
She says there are about 70,000 people in attendance at the convention, and many of them flew to St. Louis. Long lines dissipated around noontime.
Missouri will overturn voter-approved paid sick leave requirements at the end of August. Governor Kehoe signing that bill into law to repeal the requirements, but will keep the $15 an hour minimum wage increase. Belton State Representative Sherry Gallick telling MissouriNet She's heard from many businesses who oppose the required 1 hour of paid sick leave for every 30 hours worked.
Small restaurants in rural communities, because they are having a hard time right now. But it's even big business, because a lot of big business has to report to shareholders. There's a bottom line, and you have to budget your money.
Supporters of the paid sick leave requirements say Republicans are overturning the will of the people. Missouri voters passed the requirements last November.
After having appointed the new Board of Police Commissioners, how does the governor feel about city police and their job on the 4th of July weekend?
Governor Mike Kehoe praised the approach taken by the department to target the parents of children who broke the law on 4th of July weekend. He called the approach unique.
Going back to the parents of those individuals and saying, hey, you've got to control some of these minors that are out in the streets.
The St. Louis City Police Department said they took nearly 90 people into custody over 4th of July weekend. 58 of them were juveniles. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Fenton-based Panera Bread, or Bread Co. here, is closing its fresh dough facility on Hanley Road as of September 12th, part of the chain's nationwide move to half-baked frozen dough. What do Bread Co. customers on the south side think?
Oh, I'd have to try the frozen dough to know.
All I do is get a coffee subscription from them. I don't try any of their food.
I find them pretty consistent here. The food is consistent anyway, so that hasn't been a problem.
72 St. Louis workers, from mixers to panners, mechanics to truck drivers, will lose their jobs with the closure. Panera says part of the reason for the change is to make the product more consistent across stores.
The battle over a beloved bakery on the Hill continues. The Missouri Baking Company on Edwards will be auctioned off after co-owner Camille Lordo, granddaughter of founder Stefano Gambaro, would rather let her family's legacy go than run it with Anthony Favazza. Lordo's brother sold his shares to Favazza, and she tells the Post-Dispatch she doesn't like anything about him, that he's hurt too many people. In court last week, the two parties agreed to end the ownership group and sell the bakery. It was founded 100 years ago. Favazza will attempt to buy it back, saying he wants it to be around for another 100.
Walgreens shareholders have overwhelmingly approved selling the company for $10 billion to a private equity firm. Walgreens CEO Tim Wentworth says the partnership with Sycamore Partners will better position Walgreens' turnaround strategy and enhance the customer, patient, and team member experience. That experience has been the subject of many complaints since Walgreens decided to shut down 1,200 stores. Hundreds of customers have complained to KMOX about their pharmacies being closed, no pharmacists on duty, and inability to get needed prescriptions. The new company will keep its Chicago area headquarters, and the deal's expected to close later this year.
The veteran nonprofit that brought disgraced Missouri Governor Eric Greitens to national prominence has been sold. St. Louis-based The Mission Continues is being acquired by the Travis Manion Foundation of Doylestown, Pennsylvania, also a veterans organization. Greitens was charged with a felony for allegedly using the Mission Continues mailing list for his campaign for governor. That investigation was ended by then Attorney General Josh Hawley.
A man who says he was slapped by an opposing player at a Battlehawks game is suing. Jordan Hardwick of Fenton filed that suit Friday against the player, the United Football League, and two entities that operate the Dome at America Center. The incident was caught on video. It happened April 26th. Michigan wide receiver Samson Nakua was on the sidelines. You can see a man in the front row jawing with him before Nakua smacks the man's face. That man, Hardwick, claims he suffered serious injuries and emotional distress. The suit says he was at the game with his child. It also blames the league and the Dome for poor security. Nakua, whose brother is Puka Nakua of the Los Angeles Rams, was suspended for one game for that slap.
Coming up next, traffic and weather together. It's 6:08, Total Information AM.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-949-1441. That's 800-949-1441. 800-949-1441.
Home title theft. It's on the rise and it's devastating if it happens to you. Listen to the alarming words of an actual home title thief.
I don't need to know your date of birth and social security number. All I have to do is go to public records, create a document, and file that document. And then I can borrow against the house or sell the house. You may have no clue until you find out that your house has been sold or till several loans or several banks are foreclosing on you.
For pennies a day, Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier of protection around your home's title with 24/7 monitoring. The instant they detect any tampering, you'll get an alert. And that's bad news for home title thieves. So when's the last time you checked on the title to your home? Find out if you're already a victim with your free title scan and complete title report. $100 value free with sign up. Just go to HomeTitleLock.com and sign up in minutes. That's HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
All right, it's 6:10, and we have to get you updated on your ride-in, traffic, and weather every 10 minutes on Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Scott Jagow and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the only place we have an issue right now on the Missouri side, Debbie, is with this crash northbound 55 just before River to Pear. It's in the construction zone. The two left lanes are shut down there for road work, so the right lanes are getting by. But MoDOT trucks are there now, so some flashing lights, still drawing the attention of drivers, even though it's been cleared out of the roadway for a little bit. We still have a jam back through Bayless, again, most of the way up through Weber, River to Pear area right now on northbound 55. It's also a little slow down south right through McNutt in that construction zone as well. Looks good out to the west coming in from Wentzville, eastbound 70, eastbound 64, southbound 61 downtown. We look okay across the Poplar. Don't forget, westbound 5570 is closed now till the end of the month between 159 and 157. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A humid day today with clouds and patchy fog to start, then some sunshine. There can be a pop-up thunderstorm this afternoon, high 85. Partly to mostly cloudy and humid tonight, though 73. Remaining warm and humid tomorrow with clouds and some sunshine. A shower and thunderstorm around, especially in the afternoon, high 86. For Wednesday, times of sun and clouds, hot and humid. A stray thunderstorm mainly in the afternoon, high 95. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And the weather is sponsored by Fairmount Park Casino and Racing. Players card in the casino today. Win up to $100,000. Get access to comps, free slot play, gift giveaways, and promotional offers. The offer won't last long. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
There was actually more rain delay time yesterday than time of baseball, but in the end, the Cards get a win. I've got all the highlights coming up in sports.
It is 6:12. A man accused of exposing himself in businesses is facing charges in both St. Charles and St. Louis counties. Fox 2 says St. Louis County authorities are charging 18-year-old Cornelius R. Johnson Jr. with one count of first-degree sexual misconduct. He's being held on a $50,000 cash-only bond. Johnson is scheduled to appear in St. Louis County Court this morning. He also faces 2 counts of first-degree sexual misconduct in St. Charles County.
Centene Corporation, St. Louis's largest publicly traded company, the nation's largest managed care provider, is facing significant challenges financially. This is due to federal cuts to government-run healthcare programs. The mega bill signed by President Trump is expected to cut $1 trillion from Medicaid. That accounted for 62% of Centene's revenue last year. According to the Post-Dispatch, the company has already trimmed its workforce and pulled its earnings forecast for this year.
Some residents of a rural Lincoln County nursing home are still trying to find a new care option with news in the last week that their nursing home is closing.
All of the beds in the facility are Medicaid beds, and advocates say closures are becoming a trend.
Over the past 12 months, we've seen at least 10 facilities in Missouri close, and almost all of those really focused on caring for people who were on Medicaid.
Marjorie Moore, executive director of Voice, says 70% of all nursing home stays in Missouri are covered by Medicaid. She adds Medicaid reimbursement doesn't always cover the entire cost of care. At the same time, she says some facility owners seem more interested in pulling profits than investing in care. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
A Metro East fire department no longer has any firefighters. All 13 volunteers at the Church Road Fire Department walked off the job on Thursday. According to a social media post, they resigned to protest the sudden firing of their chief, Dwayne Carpenter. The department covers part of Cahokia Heights, but it's now closed and the locks have been changed. There are reportedly agreements with other departments that could step in case of a fire or other emergency. The firefighters say they're proud to have served the community and saddened by this development. There's been no public explanation of why Carpenter was let go.
MU Extension is warning corn and soybean growers about Japanese beetles. Entomologist Iver Valmorbida tells MissouriNet the beetles are highly mobile.
We started seeing Japanese beetle emergence on the week of June 23rd, so about 3 weeks ago. And it was kind of across Missouri, mostly in the southwest and southeast Missouri. But in the past 2 weeks, we observed adults across all locations in the state.
The Japanese beetles are considered pests in corn and soybeans. MU Extension's pest monitoring website offers an alert system for Japanese beetles and other pests. It's 6:15.
Well, 2.5 hours of gameplay yesterday, over 4 hours of rain delays yesterday. In the end, the Cards outlasted the Braves and the rain delays at Busch Stadium. It was 1-1 in the third when the first stoppage came and a delay lasted nearly an hour and a half. The Braves scored twice in the fifth inning against Cards reliever Steven Matz. Back-to-back two-out hits, and it's Matt Olson who put the Braves on top.
Matz is ready, the 3-2 pitch, and that is hit sharply in the left for a base hit. 2 runs are going to score. The Braves take the lead on the base hit for Matt Olson. It's now 3-1 Atlanta. Man, oh man.
Rains came before the Braves could even finish hitting in the top of the fifth inning, and the delay stretched close to 3 hours this time. When the bottom of the fifth rolled around, Victor Scott walked to open the inning. Alec Burleson singled with 2 outs, and that brought Wilson Contreras to the plate.
3-2 pitch coming in, and that's popped up down the right field line. And coming in is the right fielder, Acuna, and he can't get it. It's going to drop in front of him. 1 run scores. Here comes another. The Cardinals have tied it. That ball was in the air a long time, but he couldn't get there. Acuna in right for the second baseman, Albies. And a fly ball double by Wilson Contreras has tied the game here in the fifth inning.
It was still 3-3 in the bottom of the sixth inning when Mason and Jose Fermin followed maybe the biggest hit of his major league career.
And the next delivery is hit high and deep to left field by Fermin. Back to the track, and it's gone! Big fly, Jose Fermin! And the Cardinals take a 2-run lead, 5-3. First of the year for Fermin. And a big blast here in the bottom of the sixth inning.
In fact, it was Fermin's first major league home run. 76 games in the major leagues. Fermin spent parts of 9 seasons in the minors, and that makes him our Game Day Men's Health peak performer. Game Day Men's Health, get back to the top of your game. Atlanta got back into the seventh inning. They trimmed the Cards' lead to 5-4, and then the Braves threatened in the eighth with 2 on, 2 outs, and Michael Harris facing Riley O'Brien.
And the next delivery is a called strike 3. Got him on the outside corner with a slider. Strikes out Michael Harris the second, who thought he had ball 4. That may have been a bit of a gift for Riley O'Brien. Regardless, 2 Braves are stranded. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Cardinals still hanging on 5-4.
It was 5-4 in the 9th. Ryan Helsley comes on for the Redbirds. The first 2 reach against Helsley. He strikes out Matt Olson and then gets a pair of groundouts to end things as the Cardinals hold on for a 5-4 win. They go into the All-Star break at 51-46. They're a game and a half out of the final wild card spot. Next sports update is 6:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Life is change. An election, an illness, a death. And questions. What about my family, my retirement, my estate? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano stand ready to help you plan for your life changes and protect what matters to you. They have listened, planned, and executed thousands of estate plans, taxes, and legal documents for over 30 years, right here in St. Louis. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano make it easy to get started. Go to their website, yourestateMatters.com, and request their free webinar. It focuses on simple legal strategies and their process. Then schedule your free personal consultation. Life is change. Plan now. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show.
I would just like to say you guys are awesome. I've just been turned on to this since it's been on 104.1 at the FM dial, and I think you guys make me laugh, and you're informative. I just love you guys' show. You guys are amazing.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman, Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Good Monday morning, 6:20. Let's check in with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have our issue on northbound 55, Scott. This traffic reports a service to the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. It's the crash into the work zone. They moved it into the work zone northbound 55 just before River to Pear. Traffic is backed up to the Union Road overpass. However, flashing lights mowed out there. Looks like they're going to have to probably needing a couple of tow trucks. A couple of those cars look like they have pretty heavy damage, but no lane blockage at that point. But there is that jam. Now, there's also a little bit of a slowdown in the work zone northbound 55 through McNutt toward the Joachim Creek. And after that, like I said, you're good to go until you get up around the Union Road overpass. Still look good out west. Eastbound 70, eastbound 64, southbound 61 coming in from Wentzville. Across the Missouri River bridges, no issues there. And don't see any delays yet. But again, don't forget, 5570 westbound is closed now through the end of the month, the next 2.5 weeks between 159 and 157. So take westbound 270 to southbound 255, the reverse of when we had that eastbound closure recently. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today and much of this week, we have a chance of some thunderstorms in the afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms chances with us basically all the way through Friday. So today it'll be humid, clouds, patchy fog, giving way to some sunshine, a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon, 85. Pretty much the same for tomorrow with a high of 86. And for Wednesday, except the high is going to be 95. It's 71 and cloudy out there right now.
The news continues at 6:22 with more flooding threats in the hill country of Texas. Recovery efforts continue from catastrophic flooding that claimed the lives of at least 120 people.
Raging rivers in the northern part of the Texas hill country over the weekend. According to Governor Greg Abbott, the state conducting rescues in San Saba and Lampasas. Other nearby counties were under evacuations as residents moved to higher ground. This just over a week after flooding ripped through the Kerrville area of Texas, leaving death and destruction in its wake.
But we're working with Texas. We're working with a great governor. Greg Abbott's doing a great job.
President Trump was on Fox's My View with Lara Trump days after he was on the ground in Texas.
So sad to see this one in particular because so many young, beautiful young kids, mostly girls, they were just killed, and counselors were killed.
The loss at Camp Mystic, an all-girls camp, still very much on the minds of Texans and Americans in general. So are ways to avoid similar devastation in the future.
We're also taking historic action to ensure that such a nightmare never happens again. And we're going to look and see how can a thing like this, they could say it's 100-year. Somebody said it's a 500-year event. It doesn't, we're not going to let a thing like this happen.
The political finger pointing surrounds weather alerts ahead of the floods. Some Democrats blame Trump administration cuts to agencies like the National Weather Service.
The fact that Democrats are politicizing this while people are still looking for their babies, they're still looking for their family members, I think is absolutely despicable.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem appeared on NBC's Meet the Press, and she was asked about reports that thousands of calls from flood victims to FEMA call centers went unanswered because federal contracts weren't renewed.
Those contracts were in place. Nobody,
it didn't take 5 days.
No employees were off of work. Every one of them was answering calls. So false reporting, fake news, and it's discouraging. It's discouraging that during this time when we have such a loss of life and so many people's lives have turned upside down, that people are playing politics with this because the response time was immediate. And if you talk to anyone in Texas that was there, that was a part of this operation, they would say the federal government and President Trump immediately responded.
On the ground in Texas, the weekend rain threats and flooding in the northern hill country led to suspended search and rescue efforts. Hundreds still without closure as the search for the missing continues into another week. In Texas, I'm Clayton Neville.
Sunday marked the one-year anniversary of an armed sniper attempting to assassinate then-candidate Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. John Stolnis has what changes have taken place at the Secret Service.
Well, it was unforgettable. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I got whacked. There's no question about that.
In an interview with his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, on Fox News, the president reflecting back on a day when he nearly lost his life to an assassin's bullet.
Fortunately, got down quickly, and people were screaming, and I got down quickly, fortunately, because I think they shot 8 bullets. Then one got me, and one got another one, and one got another one, and one killed Corey, the firefighter. Great guy.
The Associated Press wrote this weekend that close aides and friends say they see a different president since the shooting, one who is, quote, more attentive to his friends. And the president has openly said he believes God saved him for a purpose that day. A Senate committee investigating the shooting found multiple instances of breakdowns within the Secret Service. Republican Senator Rand Paul on CBS's Face the Nation.
So it was a cascade of errors. It was just one error after another. When we talked to the people in charge of security, everybody pointed a finger at someone else. We said, who was responsible for that roof? The roof where the assassin lay with a direct sight line. Nobody wanted responsibility. Everybody said it was somebody else.
Paul says the Secret Service did not act on direct threats or requests made for that day.
The suspicious person with the rangefinder who became the shooter, many times he was spotted by police with suspicion. That should have been enough to take the president off the stage.
The report also accuses then Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle of falsely testifying to Congress that, quote, no USSS asset requests were denied for the Butler rally. She resigned shortly after that congressional hearing last year. The agency issued its own report on changes made since the shooting. They say they've implemented 21 of the 46 recommendations made by oversight committees, specifically addressing the danger from drones, but also improving communication and updating training. John Stolnis, Washington.
From the KMOX archives, 42 years ago, 2 congressmen, Gary Studs of Massachusetts and Daniel Crane of Illinois, admitted to sexual relations with teenage congressional pages. Attorney James Bierbauer read a statement by Crane.
I'm sorry that I made a mistake. It happened 3 years ago. I only hope my wife and children will forgive me.
The House Ethics Committee issued official reprimands, the most severe punishment, to both congressmen. Crane lost his bid for re-election in 1984. Studs retired from Congress in 1997.
It is 6:27. That time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's Tom Ackerman for the best garage company out there, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Not only are they hiring great career opportunities right now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com, but I see on their website, again, overheaddoorsstlouis.com, they are back with their $5,000 sweepstakes. They call it the 5K Curb Appeal Giveaway. Enter to win $5,000 towards a brand new garage door. Curb Appeal Giveaway. The winner of $5,000 towards a new garage door at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Winner will be chosen at random from all entries, and the contest ends July 31st. No purchase necessary. You can't win if you don't enter. Go to overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been in business since 1926. They're the genuine, the original, the ones with the red ribbon. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career. Or the right relationship.
But whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
At 6:30, it's mostly cloudy and 72 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got the delays on 55, Debbie. I mean, we're getting a little more volume out there. So we have a backup from Highway A midway up to McNutt in the construction zone down in Jefferson County. The right lanes are a little slow north of Butler Hill through Madison. Then we still have this backup from basically the Union Road overpass up to about River to Pear. That crashes in the construction zone. So it's not blocking the two through lanes there. But there is a backup northbound 55. Everybody's looking at the flashing lights. I think MoDOT left. I think police are there, and they're still waiting for the arrival of at least one tow truck to get that crash cleared. But like I said, it's in the work zone, but people are still slowing for a look. You've got a closure on the Illinois side, of course. It happened over the weekend, Friday night at like 9 p.m. actually, but 159 to 157 on westbound 5570 shut down now for the next 2.5 weeks, 17 days. So you're going to have to take 270 west to 255 south. It'll lengthen your commute time pretty substantially, but that's the situation. It's obviously the same project they worked on the eastbound side just a few weeks ago. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thanks, Roger. Today, humid with clouds and patchy fog this morning. We do have it right now. Sunshine later on, a thunderstorm in spots, a high of 85. Overnight, about 73. Tomorrow, again, mid-80s, not too bad for mid-July. 86 for the high, maybe a couple of showers and storms. Kind of the same story on Wednesday, except 10 degrees warmer. It'll be 95. Right now, it's 71 in St. Peter, 72 in Florissant, 72 downtown at the Arch.
A new tax in Kirkwood that took effect earlier this month will soon be poured into roads.
And it is a dedicated tax to transportation. It will address street repairs, sidewalk repairs, those kinds of infrastructure needs.
Kirkwood Mayor Liz Gibbons says voters approved creating the 15-year Transportation Development District in November. The half-cent sales tax expected to generate almost $3 million a year. The first projects to improve roads will begin this fall.
A reckless driver being chased by police caused a fatal crash, claiming 2 lives in Wood River, Illinois. Police tell Fox 2 the suspect sped off, ran a red light, then crashed into another car. Immediately, that car caught fire. Both victims died in the blaze. The suspect was injured and resisted arrest, and Illinois State Police are now investigating the incident.
A man is dead in Belleville after a shooting early Sunday morning, according to the Belleville Police Department. Officers were called to the 500 block of North 40th, where they found a 50-year-old male in the front yard suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Officers and EMS attempted to administer aid, but the man was pronounced dead at the scene. The department says a suspect was taken into custody and is being held while the investigation continues.
Juveniles in the city are supposed to stay off the streets overnight. The weekend curfew is in effect Fridays and Saturdays, midnight till 5. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says parents will be held responsible for the behavior of their kids, and they could be subject to fines.
Last year, we did the 10 p.m. campaign. This year, we decided to keep that conversation going after the 4th of July because of the ongoing conversation that's occurring across the city and our community when it comes to juveniles.
McCoy says juvenile crime rates are about the same as last year. Around 60 kids were arrested over 4th of July weekend for disturbances that included fireworks, guns, and resisting arrest.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Stay with us because we've got your money report from Bloomberg coming up next at 6:34.
Good morning. A drop in mortgage interest rates may not be the key to jumpstarting the housing market. A majority of the homeowners surveyed by Bankrate say they expect to stay put this year, regardless of whether rates come down. Among those who would be open to buying a home this year, 2 in 3 said mortgage interest rates would have to drop below 5% before they would feel comfortable making the move. The survey also found there is little interest in refinancing at this time. NVIDIA's chief executive believes Washington's fears over what China might do with U.S. technology are unfounded. Jensen Huang was interviewed on CNN. He said the government does not have to be concerned about the Chinese military using NVIDIA products to improve its capabilities. Huang said China's military would avoid American technology because of potential risks. And Superman flies away as the top leader at movie theater box offices. It was the weekend's #1 movie with ticket sales of $122 million. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Kimberly. And the Money Report is sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
It's Tom Ackerman's Summer Living, Outdoor Living, Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best. Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Fence and deck in their name. Beautiful fences, great materials, great staff, good people. The showroom in Chesterfield Valley will show you that variety of fence or deck that you want to put in, but they have more than that. Patios, pergolas, sunrooms, retaining walls, and more from Chesterfield Fence and Deck. How about an outdoor kitchen? How about an outdoor fireplace? Maybe a great place to just kick back and unwind during the summer and have a cup of coffee and a newspaper read, which is what I do often on the weekends. Chesterfield Fence and Deck can do that for you. ChesterfieldFence.com. When you mention me, Tom Ackerman, you'll get 48 months interest-free financing from your next outdoor project. With Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, if you can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence, Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Baseball's All-Star Week is underway. Cardinals baseball, it returns Friday night when they take on the D-backs.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:38 and Total Information AM continues.
Good news from the state of Illinois on measles cases. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. Dr. Samir Vora is the director of the Illinois Department of Public Health.
Today, I'm pleased to announce that the recent measles outbreak here in Illinois is officially over.
Although we make this announcement knowing that the spread of measles continues to be a threat, it's a moment to reflect and acknowledge Illinois' public health efforts. Despite the soaring numbers of measles nationwide, the Southern Illinois outbreak was limited to 8 cases. Illinois had 2 additional isolated, unrelated cases in Cook County with no indication of further spread connected to those individuals. The end of the outbreak is especially noteworthy when we compare it to what is unfolding nationally. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported this week that we have seen 1,288 cases of measles nationwide so far this year. That's the highest number in 30 years for an illness that was considered eradicated in the United States in the year 2000.
With 60 seconds to better health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
It is 6:40. Check on the roads. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the busiest run in is Highway 55 right now, Scott. This traffic reports the service of Metro Transit. It's not bad down south. We had some delays up 10 minutes ago. It doesn't look as bad through AFS. McNutt moving pretty well through there. It's a little slow in the right lanes, Butler Hill up to the Mattis overpass. And we still have this jam basically the entire way up from the Union Road overpass to River de Pere. This crash into the construction zone. It's not blocking the 2 through lanes, but flashing lights from the police car, but he's still slowing for a look. So we have a jam there on northbound 55. Eastbound Highway 30, slow approaching Mauer up the hill to 270. Northbound 270, more volume north of Manchester up through Clayton Road. It picks up the pace as you get to 64, so it's not terrible. Just a little busier there. Still look good out west. Southbound 61, eastbound 70, eastbound 64 coming in from Wentzville across the Missouri River bridges in downtown. No delays across the Poplar. Again, don't forget, westbound 5570 is closed between 159 and 157 for the next 2.5 weeks. You'll have to take westbound 270 to southbound 255 to get around that closure. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
We are Metro Transit. We don't just help ourselves and our neighbors get where we need to be. We help our whole region get where we want to be. Get on board at rideonmetro.org.
It is 6:41, and we had a lot of rain yesterday, which caused a long rain delay in the Cardinals game. Some of you didn't see much, but others saw a ton. And it looks like we've got a pretty rainy week ahead, or potentially anyway. Isn't that right, AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg?
It is, Debbie. It's just what I would call unsettled. I mean, the Wednesday is probably the hottest day of the week where we can get into the 90s. Between now and then, today, just a lot of low clouds and fog in the area now. That'll take a couple more hours to disperse. Then we get some sunshine with our high in the mid-80s, and that should be enough to brew up a thunderstorm in places. I don't think we'll see the downpours that some places got yesterday with over an inch of rain. Our high 85, then partly to mostly cloudy overnight down to 73. Clouds and sun tomorrow, humid with a shower and thunderstorm or 2, especially during the afternoon hours, the high 86. I mentioned the heat Wednesday. We could be in the low to mid 90s with a stray thunderstorm, but then the heat starts to back down on Thursday. The next front approaches, and with it, building clouds throughout the day, upper 80s to near 90 with a good chance for a thunderstorm in the afternoon. I think there's another thunderstorm threat right on Friday. 72 in St. Peter's. It's 72 in Florissant, cloudy, 73 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cardinals make 4 draft picks on the first day of the Major League Draft. I'll tell you about those straight ahead in sports.
It is 6:43.
Baby, I ain't walking away.
Justin Bieber has had his ups and downs lately, including having to pay his former manager $30 million in a settlement, but he still managed to find time to drop a surprise 7th studio album called Swag. It's a personal record for him, which not only deals with his mental health struggles, but also his marriage to Hailey Bieber.
A Puerto Rican megastar returning to his roots.
After pumping up the Saturday Night Live crowd several months back, Bad Bunny wowed tens of thousands of fellow Puerto Ricans at the start of his 3-month residency at San Juan's Coliseo. This Brooklyn fan was there to see him.
He's not a crossover. He is a Spanish singing global artist.
Bad Bunny's on pace to sell out all 30 of his shows with club beats and high-octane salsa to folkloric music. The first 9 are for Puerto Rican residents only. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Kelly Osbourne is going on the defense when it comes to her dad, Ozzy. She saw rumors going around online and a fake video showing him with failing health, so she wanted to set the record straight.
There's this video going around on social media, and it's supposed to be of my dad, and it's AI. And it starts out saying, I don't need a doctor to tell me that I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die. Why would you spend your time making a video like this? He's not dying. Yes, he has Parkinson's, and yes, his mobility is completely different than it used to be, but he's not dying.
Now that Ozzy performed his final show recently, he announced that he has a memoir. It is called Last Rites, and it's coming out October 7th.
Superman flew in to defeat its competition at the weekend box office.
You let me interview you as Superman.
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Superman raked in $122 million domestically to take the top spot. Jurassic World Rebirth came in second. F1 was third. It's 6:45.
Who's Hot, Who's Not is sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Order online for delivery or pick up premium soil, compost, and mulch at any of our 9 locations. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories. Brendan Donovan, Alec Burleson both finished the first half among the top 10 in the National League in hitting. Donovan is tied for second, while Burleson is sixth, and they are the first pair of Cardinals to rank in the top 10 in the National League at the All-Star break since Yadier Molina and Alan Craig. They ranked first and second at the 2013 All-Star break. Well, before yesterday's game was over and the Cardinals were 5-4 winners through long rain delays, the Cardinals were also busy building for the future. The first few rounds of the Major League Draft got underway last night.
With the 5th pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the St. Louis Cardinals select Liam Doyle, a left-handed pitcher from the University of Tennessee.
That's baseball commissioner Rob Manfred on MLB Network. Doyle finished his college career at Tennessee, where he played for native St. Louis and Tony Vitello. And Vitello actually likened Doyle to Al Raboski during the lead-in show to the draft on MLB Network. The left-hander was the SEC Pitcher of the Year. He led all of Division I with 15 and a half strikeouts per 9 innings this year. Doyle also played at Ole Miss and Coastal Carolina, and you can hear from the Cards' top pick when Doyle joins the Gas House Gang today at 12:15. The Cardinals made 4 picks in all on day 1 of the draft. Outfielder Ryan Mitchell out of Houston High School with their second-round pick at number 55. They took fellow Tennessee right-hander Tanner Franklin at number 72 overall, and University of San Diego first baseman Jack Gurevich at number 89. Washington took high school shortstop Eli Willits out of Oklahoma with the top pick, and Ethan Holiday, son of Cardinals Hall of Famer Matt Holiday, was taken at number 4 by the Colorado Rockies. Of course, Matt started his career with the Rockies. St. Louis City capped off the weekend in style last night at Energizer Park.
Nice ball from Leuven, his signature sinker, and now it's wing across the face.
Get in there.
Again, hitter! Bug Marcel Harnell! It's in, baby! It's in! 68th minute! City leads!
Of course, that's Joey Zanaboni on Y98, and City wins. Hartle scored twice last night, tying the game 1-1 in the 54th minute before netting that game winner in the 68th. City kept Portland off the score sheet after the Timbers took a lead less than 20 minutes into the game. Roman Berkey faced 10 shots, turning away 3 of the 4 shots on goal. St. Louis City now 4-12-6 on the year. They will next face FC Dallas Saturday on the road. Next sports update is 7:15. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Tom Ackerman here. Enjoy your outdoor space this summer with fresh landscaping, maybe even a vegetable garden. St. Louis Composting. You can order online for delivery or pick up premium soil, compost, and mulch at any of their 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting. They transform organic yard waste, branches, leaves, grass clippings, and more into premium compost through a 6-month static composting process. They are the largest and most trusted compost provider in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting is committed to producing only the best. All of their products are STA certified, and they proudly offer compost for organic gardening and farming. Whether you're looking for bulk compost or just a few bags, St. Louis Composting. Order online for convenient delivery. That's what we did. Or you can go to one of their 9 area locations. You can find it all at stlcompost.com.
The trip of the summer is coming. Collective Soul. Live. Summer Unity Tour 2025. July 17th, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater with Our Lady Peace. Special guest, Graylin James Rue. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Collective Soul, live. Our Lady Peace, together.
It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference.
That's why we've teamed up with Jerry Kelly Heating and Cooling to bring you 100 acts of kindness.
For the next 6 months, the Chris and Amy Show is challenging you to spread kindness in simple, meaningful ways. No big budget needed.
Write a thank you note, help a neighbor, surprise someone with a smile. It all counts.
Let's prove that kindness is contagious. Share your acts with us by using hashtag 100KindActs.
Because a little kindness goes a long way.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 6:50. Roger Brand watching the Monday morning commute for us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And that crash is still out there in the median, Scott, on northbound 55. This traffic reports a service of Saks Financial. It's northbound 55 right before River to Pear in the construction zone. Traffic's backed up. Approaching the Union Road overpass, so it's slowly getting a little heavier there on northbound 55. The right lanes are also just a little slow between Butler Hill and Mattis. If you're getting on to North 270, you're good to go till you get up north of Big Bend through Doherty Ferry, most of the way up the hill to Manchester. That's busy. Eastbound 44, they're reporting a motorist sick case east of Highway O. That's as you head in between Union and 100 Washington. Should be on the shoulder. I don't see any delays through there right now, so that's a good sign. Still don't see any delays out west. Southbound 61, eastbound 64, eastbound 70. Coming in from the Wentzville split, you're still fine. Downtown, we still look good westbound across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges as well. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial, retiresafestl.com. Have you ever wondered what it's like to work with a financial advisor? Are you in your 50s or early 60s and really haven't talked to anybody about how you retire? Give me a call today. Check out our website, retiresafestl.com.
It's going to be humid this week, and we do have a chance of a thunderstorm in spots almost every afternoon. Today, a high of 85. We'll see some sunshine as we head through the day, and sun and clouds tomorrow with a high of 86, 95 on Wednesday. Right now, it is cloudy downtown and 72 degrees.
The news continues at 6:52. President Trump is defending his attorney general about those elusive Jeffrey Epstein files.
Some Trump loyalists have blasted the release of a Justice Department memo about accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The president posting on Truth Social that his attorney general, Pam Bondi, is doing a fantastic job, and even reached out to his MAGA base saying, quote, "We're all on one team and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration." He doubled down on his support for his AG as well on Fox News, saying,
Pamela's doing I think she's doing a fantastic job.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
In February, Senator Eric Schmidt, in a post on X, celebrated Pam Bondi, phase 1 of the Epstein files. How does he feel now about her saying the client list doesn't exist?
I don't know. I mean, I've been asked this, obviously. As a former prosecutor, I think it's sort of inappropriate for me to comment. I have not seen any of it. I mean, I think people wanted to know what actually happened, but I don't know the details of when or why it wasn't produced.
Asked if the Senate should investigate, Schmidt says he trusts Bondi.
All right, it is 6:53 and time for us to check in with our CBS News business analyst, Jill Schlesinger. Sorry about getting to you a little bit late, Jill, but take it away. What do you got for us this week?
Oh man, it's quite a week ahead of. By the way, we have a inflation report out tomorrow and retail sales at the end of the week, and I think all of this plays very nicely into my my topic for today, which is how does one become financially independent? What does that mean to you, and how does that matter? And I think a lot of the ideas around planning have been upended because of the inflation spike we saw 3 years ago. I think people are really freaked out about this. And so instead of being freaked out, I've got a different idea. How about let's take some action? Let's figure out what it is that you yourself, not anyone else, not some rule of thumb, need to feel more independent and have more control over your financial life. And the answer is truly figuring out how much are you spending right now and looking ahead and seeing, is your income keeping up with that? Can you squirrel away a little money in savings and keep to that every single month so that you can be on a path where you have more control over your financial future? You know, and honestly, financial future has a lot of different meanings to people. One of my friends who's a financial planner said, you know, it's really that feeling of I'm one bad meeting away from telling my boss I'm out of here.
Well, what do we see this week, Jill, that we should be keeping our eyes on other than our budgets?
Well, I mean, again, I think this inflation number that's coming out tomorrow is going to be very interesting because remember, the tariffs that have been enacted so far, not the biggest, baddest ones, but even just what's in effect is the highest tariff rate in 90 years, but it happens with a lagged impact. So we'll see whether or not we're starting to see some price increases for some of those imported goods. And then I think at the end of the week, you know, we have this retail sales report that's coming out. I think it's interesting to see, are we spending money in a somewhat similar or different way since these tariffs have been announced? And that's kind of what's on my radar screen for the week. I promise I'll come back with you next week if anything interesting comes up. Otherwise, let's just talk sports.
All right. Well, thank you, Jill. We will be definitely talking sports in just a bit with Joe Pott. Jill Schlesinger is our CBS News business analyst. JillOnMoney.com.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated. RennerDoorSTL.com on this Bastille Day. Happy birthday to actress Jane Lynch. She is 65. Jackie Earl Haley, first fame was being Kelly Leak on the Bad News Bears. He is now 64. Conor McGregor is 37. And Rosie Greer, former football player turned actor, is 93.
Wow. Local celebrity birthdays include Janet McKeon of O'Fallon, Illinois, Joseph Paleo, Sarah Hagen, Tim Meadows. Happy birthday to Pat Turbruck. Also, Marie Deering from the Saturday Coffee Ladies. Happy birthday, Nick McKeever and Tim Weiland. Also, Tom Purcell from all your friends at St. Margaret's and the Greenhouse Venture.
This is the best birthday ever.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius. Or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit CantorInjuryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius. or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens. And it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
A minute before 7, Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Scott, this crash is still in the work zone northbound 55 before you get to River to Pear, so no lanes blocked. The two right lanes are open, but it's a solid jam back to the Union Road overpass on northbound 55. The right lanes are also a little busy through Madison. It looks good down south running through McNutt. North 270 from 55 headed up through 44 is fine. Looks better now than it did through 64 in the due earlier, so it's good to go there. You're good to go out Wentzville way, southbound 61 on to eastbound 64-70. Both good runs out across the Missouri River bridges. Downtown westbound, still no delays on the run across the Poplar or Musial Veterans bridges. Next update is 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We have breaking news from New England, where officials now say 9 people were killed in a fire at an assisted living facility last night. At least 30 were injured. Fall River, Massachusetts Fire Chief Jeffrey Bacon.
Crews were met with heavy fire coming through the main entrance, and multiple people hanging out the windows, looking to be rescued.
WPRI TV's Joe Cortez is there.
A terrifying scene overnight. Multiple people could be seen from these windows screaming for help as the firefighters rushed in. Mayor Paul Coogan saying this morning that he is commending those firefighters for rushing in and rescuing victims from the upper floors.
About 70 people lived there. Many couldn't walk and needed to be carried out. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Fires are burning out of control this morning at the Grand Canyon. It destroyed a historic lodge. Correspondent Ian Lee from Fredonia, Arizona.
Fueled at times by 60-mile-per-hour winds, the fire has grown more than 40,000 acres at the north rim of the Grand Canyon.
He just called and said, "You guys are in go mode. You need to get ready to leave."
Melinda Rich Marshall, who works at nearby Jacob Lake Inn, had to evacuate quickly after a deputy called.
There is a door jam that catalogs all of the heights, right? You know, like your parents do. Well, it was my granddad that did that. So I just went and I took a video of it.
Officials say 2 women were shot and killed during Sunday services at a Baptist church in Lexington, Kentucky. Police Chief Lawrence Weathers.
The suspect fired his weapon at individuals on church property. Preliminary information indicates that the suspect may have had a connection to the individuals at the church.
He says the suspect shot and wounded a state trooper during a traffic stop beforehand, then hijacked a car and drove to the church. Officers killed the gunman. President Trump's expected to make an announcement today that the U.S. will send a new batch of weapons to Ukraine to punish Russia's President Putin for stepped-up drone and missile attacks.
We will send them Patriots, which they desperately need, because Putin really surprised a lot of people. He talks nice and then he bombs everybody in the evening.
More women than men still working from home, and experts say that comes with risks. CBS's Wendy Gillette.
The disparity is wider than it was before the pandemic, as more women opt for remote work because of family responsibilities. Researchers told the Wall Street Journal that could impact learning opportunities and career advancement.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or 2 half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
At 7:04, we have cloudy skies downtown at the Arch, 72 degrees. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. The news is sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. Work on deteriorating Kirkwood streets will begin this fall.
In November, voters approved a half-cent sales tax dedicated to transportation needs. It took effect at the beginning of this month. Kirkwood Mayor Liz Gibbons tells KMOX the worst streets are first on the list.
They're in pretty bad shape. And that I think that's why it passed so significantly. The citizens recognized that we needed a dedicated tax just to streets so that we could rectify some of the roads that we have that are really not in great condition.
The tax levy is expected to generate $2.8 million a year for road and sidewalk improvements. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The same company developing the Millennium Hotel is behind Ballpark Village. Does that delay plans for phase 3 of the expansion around Busch Stadium?
I posed that question to Mike LaMartina, who oversees the St. Louis market for the Cordish companies. He says nothing is on the back burner.
Neither comes before the other or in place of the other. We feel confident in all of these things happening to continue to create the density, the activity, and the residential living and jobs for downtown St. Louis.
He adds, while the redevelopment of the Millennium Hotel is not officially a part of Ballpark Village, it could be viewed as such. The plans call for a $670 million redevelopment to create a $1.3 million square foot mixed-use space with multiple buildings and an amphitheater. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The battle over a beloved bakery on the Hill continues. The Missouri Baking Company on Edwards will be auctioned off after co-owner Camille Lordo, granddaughter of founder Stefano Gambaro, would rather let her family's legacy go than run it with Anthony Favazza. Lordo's brother sold his share to Favazza, and she tells the Post-Dispatch she doesn't like anything about him and he's hurt too many people. In court last week, the two parties agreed to end the ownership group and sell the bakery founded 100 years ago. Favazza will attempt to buy it back, saying he wants it to be around for another 100 years.
Meanwhile, St. Louis Bread Company, also known as Panera, is transitioning away from having in-store bakers to instead using partially baked frozen dough. KMOX got reaction from customers outside a South City bread co.
They got the best bread, no matter what.
Yeah, I definitely give it a shot. I wonder if it includes the bread bowls or not, because most of the bread I eat here is bread bowls.
Yeah, no, I get bagels and salads and sandwiches.
The St. Louis region's fresh dough facility on Hanley and Brentwood will close on September 12th. 72 workers will lose their jobs. Panera once had 24 of these facilities scattered across the country. In a statement, the company says the move means, quote, greater availability of the breads our guests love, ensuring quality while allowing us to expand innovation and variety. The city of Brentwood says, we consider the employees who work in Brentwood to be a part of our broader community, and we're always saddened to hear about job losses.
Walgreens shareholders have overwhelmingly approved selling the company for $10 billion to a private equity firm. Walgreens CEO Tim Wentworth says the partnership with Sycamore Partners will better position Walgreens' turnaround strategy and enhance the customer, patient, and team member experience. That experience has been the subject of many complaints since Walgreens decided to shut down 1,200 stores. Hundreds of customers have complained to KMOX about their pharmacies being closed, no pharmacists on duty, and inability to get needed prescriptions. The new company will keep its Chicago area headquarters, and the deal's expected to close later this year.
The veteran nonprofit that brought disgraced Missouri Governor Eric Greitens to national prominence has been sold. St. Louis-based The Mission Continues is being acquired by the Travis Manion Foundation. That's in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. It's also a veterans organization. Greitens was charged with a felony for allegedly using the Mission Continues mailing list for his campaign for governor. That investigation was ended by then Attorney General Josh Hawley.
We've got more on the way here on Total Information AM, including a look at traffic and weather next. It's 7:08.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. We're checking weather and traffic right now, starting with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, traffic looks great, Scott, out there right now. I mean, the only place we have any backups is where we had the earliest trouble spot, northbound 55 at River to Pear. We had that crash in the median in the work zone. The 2 right lanes are open through there, so in the construction area, so it's not blocking the through lanes, but it's still a solid jam back between the Union Road overpass and Bayless on northbound 55 up to that point. Northbound 55, other than that, the right lane's just a little busy at Mattis. North 270 looks great from 55 up to Gravois, up past Manchester, Ladue, both directions on 270 still clear. Southbound 61, eastbound 70 and 64 coming in from Wentzville, still wide open in downtown. We still look good across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, humid today with clouds and fog patches giving way to some sunshine. There can be a thunderstorm around this afternoon, our high 85. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, low 73. Intervals of clouds and sun, warm and humid tomorrow. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Best chance in the afternoon, high 86. For Wednesday, partly sunny, hot and humid. Maybe an afternoon thunderstorm, the high 95. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is cloudy in downtown St. Louis and 72 degrees.
Cardinals picked up a win as they go into the All-Star break. I've got the highlights coming up in sports.
It's 7:12. A man accused of exposing himself in businesses is facing charges in both St. Charles and St. Louis counties. Fox 2 says St. Louis County authorities charged 18-year-old Cornelius Johnson Jr. with 1 count of first-degree sexual misconduct, holding him on a $50,000 cash-only bond. He's scheduled to appear in court this morning. He also faces 2 counts of first-degree sexual misconduct in St. Charles County.
Downtown is not a playground. That's the word from St. Louis police about this weekend's juvenile curfew. The midnight to 5 a.m. curfew, now implemented Fridays and Saturdays, comes after a 4th of July weekend that saw nearly 60 teens get arrested.
In some cases, those juveniles were charged because they resisted arrest or they had a gun and they needed to be taken into juvenile detention. Those that were out behaving poorly, breaking the law, were taken to a reunification center where they were reunited with their parents.
Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says parents will be subject to fines and for curfew violations, As part of curfew enforcement, police will have officers both in and out of uniform.
Air travelers trying to leave St. Louis yesterday, they found some long delays checking in and getting through security. Airport Director Rhonda Hamnabrugge says it was largely due to an influx of travelers leaving a conference, with some arriving in the morning for an afternoon flight. Could the airport consolidation prevent this? She doesn't think so.
When you've got that large concentration and you've got all of those people trying to get out at one time that should be spread throughout the day, it's going to be a challenge no matter where you're at.
The conference was the Seventh-day Adventist Convention, which concluded Saturday night and brought about 70,000 people to St. Louis.
A Metro East Fire Department no longer has any firefighters. All 13 volunteers at the Church Road Fire Department walked off the job Thursday. According to a social media post, they resigned in protest after the sudden firing of their chief, Dwayne Carpenter. The department covers parts of Cahokia Heights, but it's now closed and the locks have been changed. There are reportedly agreements with other departments to step in case of a fire or other emergency. The firefighters say they're proud to have served the community, saddened by this development. No public explanation yet for why Carpenter was let go.
A man who says he was slapped by an opposing player at a Battlehawks game is suing. Jordan Hardwick of Fenton, Missouri, filed suit Friday against the player, the United Football League, and the two entities that operate the Dome at America Center. The incident happened April 26th. It was caught on video. Michigan wide receiver Samson Nakua was on the sidelines, and a man in the front row, they were jawing at each other before Nakua smacks the guy's face. Hardwick claims he suffered serious injuries and emotional distress. He had his child at the game. He also blames the league and the Dome for poor security. Nakua, whose brother is Puka Nakua of the LA Rams, was suspended 1 game for the incident.
Well, yesterday, the Cards game took just over 2.5 hours of baseball, but play didn't finish last night until more than 6 hours after first pitch. The Cardinals, in the end, outlasted the Braves, outlasted the rain, and get a win at Busch Stadium. It was 1-1 in the third when the first stoppage came, and a delay lasted nearly an hour and a half. The Braves scored twice in the fifth inning against Cardinals reliever Steven Matz, thanks to back-to-back 2-out hits. Matt Olson put the Braves on top.
Matz is ready, the 3-2 pitch, and that is hit sharply in the left for a base hit. 2 runs are going to score. The Braves take the lead on the base hit for Matt Olson. It's now 3-1 Atlanta. Man, oh man.
Well, rain came again before the Braves could even finish hitting in the top of the fifth inning. This time, the delay stretched close to 3 hours. When the bottom of the fifth rolled around, Victor Scott walked to open the inning. Alec Burleson singled with 2 outs, and that brought Wilson Contreras to the plate.
3-2 pitch coming in, and that's popped up down the right field line. And coming in is the right fielder, Acuna, and he can't get it. It's going to drop in front of him. 1 run scores. Here comes another. The Cardinals have tied it. That ball was in the air a long time, but he couldn't get there. Acuna in right for the second baseman, Albies. And a fly ball double by Wilson Contreras has tied the game here in the fifth inning.
It's still 3-3 in the bottom of the sixth inning. Mason Wynn led off with a single, and Jose Fermin followed with maybe the biggest hit of his big league career.
And the next delivery is hit high and deep to left field by Fermin. Back to the track, and it's gone! Big fly, Jose Fermin! And the Cardinals take a 2-run lead, 5-3. First of the year for Fermin. And a big blast here in the bottom of the sixth inning.
In fact, it was Fermin's first major league home run in his 76th game in the majors. Fermin has spent parts of 9 seasons in the minor leagues. Atlanta got a run back in the 7th to trim the lead to 5-4. The Braves threatened in the 8th inning with 2 on and 2 outs, and Michael Harris facing Riley O'Brien.
And the next delivery is a called strike 3. Got him on the outside corner with a slider. Strikes out Michael Harris the second, who thought he had ball 4. That may have been a bit of a gift for Riley O'Brien. Regardless, 2 Braves are stranded. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Cardinals still hanging on 5-4.
Riley O'Brien tossed 1 2/3 innings scoreless. He struck out 2, and he is our player to bank on. Sponsored by Community America Credit Union, invested in you. The Braves put the first 2 hitters on in the 9th against Cards closer Ryan Helsley. He then struck out Matt Olson, gets 2 groundouts to end things, and the Cards hold on for a 5-4 win. They're 51-46 and 1.5 games out of the final wild card spot at the All-Star break. Next sports update is 7:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Now, 90 and 60. A look back at the latest St. Louis City SC match. Presented by Woods Basement Systems, Inc.
Back to the Cosi in the box. Penetration. He tries to flick against Berkey. And Roman Berkey. Massive save. Pompeo dances into the area. Slots one in. Portal. Oh, baby. Clips the metal. Finds the net. Nice ball from Leuven, his signature sinker, and now it's wing across the face. Ball again. Oh, header! One more still. Arnold! It's in, baby! It's in! Your final score: St. Louis City 2, Portland Timbers 1.
Up next, City SC faces FC Dallas Saturday night. Kick at 7:30 on Y98.
Tripping over uneven concrete? Don't replace it, raise it with concrete leveling. Call the all things basement-y experts, Wood Basement Systems, for a free estimate at 618-249-5503 or learn more at woodsbasementsystems.com.
This is Tom Ackerman. It's All-Star Week, and Budweiser will be very present in everything happening with Major League Baseball this week. Budweiser is the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball, the king of beers. At the crack of a bat, crack open a Bud. There are 4 members of Team Bud. Ken Griffey Jr., one of the greatest players in the history of the game. Lars Nootbaar, Cardinals outfielder, is on Team Bud, along with Corey Seager and Kyle Tucker. Budweiser is also a proud partner and has been for the last 15 years with Folds of Honor. Folds of Honor is a great organization. Folds of Honor is proud as well, and an organization rooted in supporting military families in need has partnered with Budweiser. Service never stops, and neither will Folds of Honor or Budweiser. This year, proceeds from every 12-pack of Budweiser and Bud Zero sold go directly to Folds of Honor. This Bud's for you.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is going on 7:21. If you're just heading out the door, it's cloudy downtown. We should see some sunshine. The forecast on the way after we check your ride in with Roger Brandon, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, the first crash we had of the morning, the first incident we had of the morning, really is still out there with us northbound 55. The crash just before River de Pere in the construction zone. The 2 right lanes are open through there in the work zone, so it's not blocking those. But a fire pumper showed up now. Again, there's still activity in the area. Northbound 55, the right lane's busy. Butler Hill, Madison, you're backed up north of Union up to River de Pere on northbound 55. A little busier on eastbound 30, Mauer to 270. Northbound Tesson Ferry, Butler Hill up through at least Kennerly or Mattis is kind of slow. North and south 270 around Ladue, especially southbound, getting a little busier there. Still look good out west, southbound 61, eastbound 70, eastbound 64 from the Wentzville split across the Missouri River bridges. I still don't see any problems downtown. We're still clear across the Poplar and Musel Veterans bridges. And the detour, westbound 5570 is closed between 159 and 157 through the end of the month. Westbound 270 to south 255, that all still looks pretty good for you right now. Next update at 7:30 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Not that hot this afternoon for this time of year. A thunderstorm in spots and a high of 85. Overnight 73. About the same story for tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, it's going to warm back up into the mid-90s, 95, and then we'll be around 90 for Thursday and Friday. Every day there's the chance of a pop-up thunderstorm like we had yesterday, some of those severe. Right now it is 72 degrees in St. Peter's, in Florissant, and downtown at the Gateway Arch.
It is 7:22. Authorities say 9 people have been killed, 30 others injured when fire swept through an assisted living facility in Fall River, Massachusetts. Fire Chief Jeffrey Bacon says crews were met with heavy fire coming through the main entrance and multiple people hanging out windows looking to be rescued.
An incredibly coordinated effort between the fire department and EMS and the police department.
Multiple victims were rescued from the building and transported to local hospitals for treatment.
2 wildfires are burning out of control at one of the most visited national parks, that is the Grand Canyon. The White Sage Fire has grown to almost 20 times its size in just 5 days. At least 50 structures, including a historic lodge, have been destroyed. CBS News correspondent Ian Lee is in Fredonia, Arizona, and spoke to one business owner that was evacuated.
Melinda Rich Marshall, who works at nearby Jacob Lake Inn, had to evacuate quickly after a deputy called. It was the second time in 5 years she had to flee from the lodge, which has been owned by her family for more than a century.
Did you look back and think, this could be the last time I ever see this place?
Yep. There is a door jam that catalogs all of the heights, right? Like your parents do. Well, it was my granddad that did that. So I just went and I took a video of it.
The south rim of the Grand Canyon is open for now. That's the one that's most visited.
Rain postponed recovery efforts in the hill country of Texas after deadly flooding. 166 people are still missing. We get more from Chris Fox of KRLD Radio.
3 additional inches of rain stalled the recovery effort in Kerr County. As much as 9 inches of rain north of there led to dozens of water rescues in the Lampasas River, which rose to 33 feet. The San Saba River hit 27 feet. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said evacuations were underway in 4 central Texas counties, with water rescues in 3.
Meanwhile, there's a new flooding threat in Texas, and it's in the same area that was hit with those July 4th floods. CBS News correspondent Jason Allen is in the hard-hit Kerrville, Texas area.
We had to move up from the banks of the river this morning where we were because the forecast is for it to come up another 6 feet or so. Officials here have started using the word recovery now for their efforts along the river, which means the eventual death toll from this storm could get close to 300 people.
A deadly shooting Sunday inside a Lexington, Kentucky church. We get more from CBS's Jerika Duncan.
4 women were shot, 2 killed by a gunman who opened fire inside a Baptist church. The suspect was shot and killed by police.
Preliminary information indicates that the suspect may have had a connection to the individuals at the church.
Earlier at a traffic stop, the suspect shot a state trooper. That trooper is reportedly in stable condition.
Investigators in Ireland began digging today at a site believed to contain the remains of about 800 children, including infants and toddlers.
It was one of the now notorious mother and baby homes, this one run by the Bon Secours sisters from 1925 to 1961. In 2010, an amateur historian found death certificates for 796 babies and children, but no burial records. Preliminary investigations located the remains dumped in a septic tank. Today, a 2-year project to exhume the remains begins to give the babies the funerals they were denied and, if possible, to reunite them with living relatives. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
From the KMOX archives, 59 years ago, 8 student nurses were murdered in their Chicago dorm. In grisly terms, Police Superintendent O.W. Wilson described what the killer did.
He took them out of the room one by one where he slaughtered them.
Within days, the suspect was arrested for the murders, convicted and sentenced to prison. He died there in 1991.
25 years ago, a Miami jury ordered cigarette makers to pay the biggest personal industry judgment in U.S. history, almost $145 billion, for knowingly causing smoking-related illnesses. Plaintiff attorney Stanley Rosenblatt said the case was about more than awarding damages.
This was about showing these companies up for what they really are. And at this point, that's the greatest satisfaction that we have.
Philip Morris attorney Jan Webb vowed the award wouldn't stand.
There is no industry in America. There's probably not a country in the world that could withstand a verdict of this size and pay it at one time.
The Florida Supreme Court later overturned this massive punitive damages award in 2006, finding it excessive as a matter of law. Despite this, the Florida Supreme Court did allow a way forward for individual members of the original class. It waived the statute of limitations for a year and permitted them to rely on some of the jury's earlier findings of tobacco companies' liability, such as cigarettes causing disease and nicotine being addictive.
We are going to have the possibility pretty much every afternoon this week of a thunderstorm popping up. and it will be hot midweek. Today, it's going to be 85 degrees. We will see some sunshine today and, again, possibly a thunderstorm. Right now, it's 72 degrees. The International Hot Rod Association Outlaw Nitro Series is back. 5 events, 4 locations, 1 explosive season, Top Fuel, Funny Cars, Pro Mods, and you in the stands. Nitro Nation, get your tickets now at ihra.com, ihra.com. It's 7:28. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res. Celebrate National Carpet Cleaning Month with Zero Res and purchase 3 rooms of carpet cleaned. Get 1 free room plus $50 off your air duct services. You can book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings. So they were just out at my house about a month ago, and they've been out half a dozen times over the years. But I'm always impressed. They are punctual, they are professional, they are compassionate, they are courteous, they work their tails off, and they just flat out get your carpets, your upholstery, your air ducts as clean as the day they brought them in. It's St. Louis. It's the dog days of summer. Those carpets are going to be getting gamey. Maybe you dropped some toasted ravioli in there, some barbecue, whatever it is you put into them, we can get that back out. 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com. Spell it forward, spell it backwards. It's always the same, Zero Res.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
At 7:30, we have cloudy skies downtown at the Arch. It is 72 degrees. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, they're still out there with this crash that we had from early this morning before 6 a.m., I believe, on northbound Highway 55, right at River to Pear. It's in the work zone. The 2 right lanes are open past it, but there's a fire pumper on the scene now, so a little more activity. Folks are still slowing for a look. You're jammed back to the Union Road overpass on northbound 55, and it's also bogged down northbound 55 from Butler Hill up to the North 270 ramp, North 270 north of the Sappington Road overpass through Gravois is a little slow. It's a little busy in the right lanes north of Manchester, headed up to Clayton Road. More volume on southbound 270. Olive down to Ladue now is busy. If you're southbound on 61, you still look good down on the 64 or 70. Coming out of the Wentzville area, still in good shape. I do see a little slowdown eastbound 364. Briefly east of Bryan Road, so there may be a minor incident there. Downtown, we're still clear westbound across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges. Of course, don't forget, westbound 5570 between 159 and 157 is closed. Southbound 55 at the 3 Eyes is starting to get a little heavy, but westbound 270 on to southbound 255, that alternate route still looks good. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be potentially stormy all week, but just hit or miss. A chance of a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon. Today's high 85, and we could see some sunshine as well. 73 overnight. Tomorrow's high 85. Right now, it is 73 degrees and mostly cloudy in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:32. The deadline for the public to weigh in on regulations for Missouri sports betting is this Wednesday. The state plans to launch legalized sports gambling December 1st after voters passed it narrowly last November. On Thursday, the Missouri Gaming Commission will hold a public hearing to get input specifically on licenses and how they'll be handled.
Governor Mike Kehoe praising St. Louis City Police Department's focus on citing parents of kids who broke the law over the 4th of July. He says sometimes events like the 4th of July draw people who disregard laws.
It's like any major city. Sometimes the bad actors come out when you have a major holiday, but I thought the chief's approach was unique.
He also praised statistics that show homicides down in the city through the first half of 2025 compared to last year, but acknowledged more work needs to be done.
Meanwhile, the governor on naming a St. Louis police commissioner who does millions in business with the department.
Don Brown Chevy dealership has done nearly $3 million of business with the St. Louis City Police Department over the last 2 years. I asked Governor Mike Kehoe if that came up when selecting him to oversee the department. He wouldn't say outright if the topic was brought up, but did say this.
He's a non-voting member. That's specifically why we asked him to be in that role. He will not be voting on anything that has to do with his business.
Brown and the other 5 voting members were all sworn in last week. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Walgreens shareholders have overwhelmingly approved selling the company for $10 billion to a private equity firm. Walgreens CEO Tim Wentworth says the partnership with Sycamore Partners will better position Walgreens' turnaround strategy and enhance the customer, patient, and team member experience. That experience has been the subject of many complaints since Walgreens decided to shut down 1,200 stores. Hundreds of customers have complained to KMOX about their pharmacies being closed, no pharmacists on duty, and an inability to get needed prescriptions. The new company will keep its headquarters in the Chicago area. The deal's expected to close later this year.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:34.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
It is 7:35 and it is time for your money report, which is sponsored for you this hour by Busey Bank. We get the latest from Kimberly Adams at Bloomberg.
Good morning. Mortgage rates have risen for the first time in 6 weeks. According to Freddie Mac, the average for a 30-year fixed loan is 6.72%. A bump in listings has given house hunters more choices and greater negotiating power, but prices remain high, and uncertainty over the economy is weighing on consumer confidence. Tesla is plotting an expansion, planning to bring its driverless taxis to California and Arizona. CEO Elon Musk predicting on his social media platform X that the company's robo-taxis could launch in the San Francisco Bay Area in about a month or two. The company has contacted the Arizona Department of Transportation to begin the certification process and get ready for more Apple products. Bloomberg has learned that the iPhone maker is planning to release an assortment of new devices during the first half of next year. Some of the items include a new low-end iPhone, upgrades to Apple's entry-level tablet and iPad Air, as well as an external Mac monitor. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today, 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Hospital Sisters Health System isn't just in your community. We're your neighbors, your friends, your support system. From your first visit, you'll experience expert care backed by the strength of our entire health network. At HSHS, we put your health first, with medical expertise and kindness that makes you feel valued at every step. HSHS, connected to our community, committed to your health. Visit hshs.org/caring to learn more.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
Baseball's All-Star Week is underway. Cardinals baseball, it returns Friday night when they take on the D-backs.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The news continues at 7:39. A reckless driver being chased by police caused a fatal crash, claiming 2 lives in Wood River, Illinois. Police tell Fox 2 the suspect sped off, ran a red light, then crashed into another car, which immediately caught fire. Both victims died in the fire. The suspect was injured and resisted arrest, and Illinois State Police are now investigating.
A person died in a single car accident Saturday in St. Charles. Highway Patrol says that happened just before 1:30 in the afternoon at South Old Highway 94 near Sherman Drive. The driver hit the pole of a stoplight and was pronounced dead at a hospital.
The veteran nonprofit that brought disgraced Missouri Governor Eric Greitens to national prominence has been sold. St. Louis-based The Mission Continues is being acquired by the Travis Manion Foundation of Doylestown, Pennsylvania. It's also a veterans organization. Greitens was charged with a felony for allegedly using The Mission Continues mailing list for his campaign for governor. That investigation was ended by then Attorney General Josh Hawley.
All right, it's 7:40 and time for us to get you a check of traffic and weather. I'm Debbie Monterrey along with Scott Jagow, and here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our trouble spot on northbound 55, Debbie. As traffic reports the service of Siding Express, that crash is still out there. Fire department bumper left the scene, but they're still out there in the median from where they were before 6 a.m. Northbound 55 at River to Paris, solid jam back to the Union Road overpass. If you're going north on 270, you've got slow stuff both sides of Gravois, Big Bend up through Manchester, a little slow 64 to Ladue, a couple of spots where it's busy. South 270 from Page down to Ladue. Still a great out west, southbound 61 coming down from Highway P onto 64 or 70 eastbound. They both look great. There's just a little slowdown now. 94 to Research Park on 64. Otherwise, coming across the Boone Bridges is good with that one exception. It's a little slow both ways on 64 between Hanley and the Inner Belt in Mid-County. And downtown, we're still good. Westbound across the Poplar and Musel Veterans Bridges, no issues or delays there. And again, don't forget 5570 is closed between 159 and 157. You have to take westbound 270 to southbound 255 as the alternate. That's easiest, obviously, interstate alternate. And that alternate route looks great for you right now. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardie Siding. At Siding Express, we specialize in James Hardie siding installation. Visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. That's sidingexpress.com. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 7:41. Looks like we're going to have some storms off and on throughout the week. Let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. Good morning, Joe.
Yeah, today's going to be humid as the clouds and fog that we've dealt with overnight from the thunderstorms of yesterday break for some sunshine, but it's unstable enough that there can be a thunderstorm that pops up around the area this afternoon. I don't think they'll be as widespread as we saw yesterday, nor with as much rain, but there'll still be a couple of them in the area this afternoon and this evening, are high 85. Overnight, partly to mostly cloudy. The overnight, those 73 intervals of clouds and sun tomorrow. We get to 86. And again, look for a shower and thunderstorm or two, mainly during the afternoon hours. Wednesday looks to be a little less active. It's hotter, too, with more sunshine. We get up to 93, 94, maybe 95. Real feels upper 90s. Just a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm. But then looks like things get more active later Thursday with sun and building clouds. Expect a thunderstorm in the afternoon, the high 89. And there could be a thunderstorm or two at some point Friday as well with a high in the upper 80s. Currently 73 in St. Peters and in Florissant. Cloudy 74 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And I'm Joe Pott. I'll tell you who the Cards took on the first day of the Major League Draft. That's straight ahead in sports.
It is now 7:42. Missouri's voter-approved paid sick leave requirements will come to an end in August. Governor Mike Kehoe signed a bill into law that will repeal the requirements, but will keep the $15 an hour minimum wage increase. Belton State Representative Sherry Gallick tells Missouri Net her concern is to keep businesses open and growing.
I want people to make as much money as they can, but every worker is not the same, and every job is not the same. Just one size doesn't fit all.
Supporters of the paid sick leave requirement say Republicans are overturning the will of the people. Missouri voters passed those requirements last November.
Centene Corporation, St. Louis's largest publicly traded company and the nation's largest managed care provider, is facing significant financial challenges. This due to federal cuts to government-run health care programs. The mega bill signed by President Trump is expected to cut $1 trillion from Medicaid. That accounted for 62% of Centene's revenue last year. According to the Post-Dispatch, the company has already trimmed its workforce and pulled its earnings forecast for this year.
Advocates for people living in long-term care are concerned about the number of Missouri nursing homes closing in recent months.
Marjorie Moore, executive director of Voice, tells KMOX 10 facilities have closed in the last year. Moore says almost all of them served Medicaid recipients. But she says low Medicaid reimbursement rates aren't always to blame. In some cases, residents are still paying above and beyond that.
Any of their pension, any income that they would have coming in, their Social Security, goes to the facility as well. So on top of their Medicaid, and the resident gets to keep $50 a month.
Residents of a nursing home in Silex received word in the last week that their facility is closing at the end of August. Every person at that site relied on Medicaid. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
A newly signed law guarantees some Missouri community college students can transfer 2 full years of credits to a 4-year school. Dr. Jeff Pittman, chancellor of St. Louis Community College, tells KMOX the new law applies to 5 areas of study:
business administration, elementary education or teacher education, general psychology, nursing, and general biology.
Pittman says those 5 programs focus on high-need, high-vacancy rate job sectors.
Cards and Braves playing the final game of a 3-game series yesterday at Busch. Braves led 3-1 in the 5th before a 2-run double by Wilson Contreras tied the game. Jose Fermin then blasted a 2-run go-ahead home run in the 6th inning, his first major league home run. The Braves got within a run, but the Cards hold on for a 5-4 win heading into the All-Star break. Teams had to wait out 2 separate rain delays yesterday, totaling more than 4 hours. So, before yesterday's game was even over, the Cardinals were already busy building for the future as the first few rounds anyway, of the Major League Draft got underway.
With the 5th pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the St. Louis Cardinals select Liam Doyle, a left-handed pitcher from the University of Tennessee.
Number 5 pick, as you heard right there, that was baseball commissioner Rob Manfred on MLB Network. Doyle finished his college career at Tennessee, where he played for St. Louis native Tony Vitello. He actually likened Doyle to Al Robosky, during the lead-in show on MLB Network. The left-hander was the SEC Pitcher of the Year. He led Division I pitchers with 15.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, racking up a school record 164 strikeouts over 95 2/3 innings. He also played at Ole Miss and Coastal Carolina before coming to Tennessee, and you can hear from him. He'll join the Gas House Gang coming up today at 12:15. Also, Cards beat writer Derek Gould joins the show at 12:30. Cardinals made 4 picks total on day one. Outfielder Ryan Mitchell out of Houston High School was their 2nd-round pick at number 55. They took Tennessee right-hander Tanner Franklin at number 72 overall and University of San Diego first baseman Jack Gurovich at number 89. Washington took high school shortstop Eli Willits out of Oklahoma with the top pick in the draft. And Ethan Holliday, son of Cardinals Hall of Famer Matt Holliday, he goes to the Rockies at number 4. Of course, Matt Holliday started his career with the Rockies. St. Louis City capped off the weekend the right way yesterday at Energizer Park.
Nice ball from Leuven. His signature is sinker, and now it's wing across the face.
Get in there.
Again. Oh, header by Marcel Harnell. It's in, baby. It's in. 68th minute. City leads.
Thank you, Joey Zanaboni. City wins. Hartle scored twice last night. He tied the game 1-1 in the 54th minute before netting that game winner in the 68th. City kept Portland off the score sheet after the Timbers took the initial lead less than 20 minutes into the game. Roman Berkey faced 10 total shots. He turned away 3 of the 4 shots on goal. City is now 4-12-6, and they'll face FC Dallas next Saturday on the road. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
How many of you think taxes are going to go up in the future? And if they do, who will be hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, August 26th or Thursday, August 28th at Fleming's. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Hey guys, Dave and Rach here for our good friends at Smart Mouth. So it is unique by the very definition of the word. It's the only mouth rinse out there with 2 chemicals that combine to prevent bad breath for 24 hours a day.
Return of St. Louis favorite, The Phantom of the Opera, and the spellbinding spectacular Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And right now, KMOX has your chance to win a pair of season tickets for the 2025-2026 season. Prize package includes a pair of tickets for all 8 shows in the subscription package. Register now online at KMOX.com/contests for your chance to win.
Now the news at 1 The Fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:50. Let's see how the roads look. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We still got our trouble spot with us, Scott, on northbound 55. The crash in the work zone right before River de Pere, not blocking anything. 2 right lanes are open in that construction area. Still backed up from the Union Road overpass to River de Pere, northbound 55. I'm seeing a jam on westbound 270 now. Slow down beginning at 203, jammed approaching Route 3 to the Canal Bridge. I believe it may be road work going on there, but bumper-to-bumper traffic. Now, I mentioned earlier about the detours from the closure westbound 5570 between 159 and 157, taking 270 west to 255 south. That part still looks just fine. Other places with delays, well, I mentioned 55. That's the only other place with a jam. Northbound 270, still slow both sides of Gravois, a little busy at 44. Doherty Ferry to Manchester, Clayton Road to Ladue. South 270 approaching Page down to Ladue. That's slow. Southbound 61, there's heavy crossing over onto eastbound 64. It's a little busy at Research Park. There's slow stuff McKnight through Hanley. South 170 between the Parkway and Brentwood down to 64. That's a little slow as well. And there's a little volume downtown, just Route 3 onto the Poplar, just a little slow down there westbound. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The whole week is pretty much going to be much the same. We're going to have a mix of sun and clouds. It's going to be humid. We have a chance for an afternoon thunderstorm popping up. The only real difference is it heats up Wednesday into the mid-90s. Today and tomorrow, 85 or 86 degrees. Right now, it's cloudy downtown and 73.
The news continues at 7:52. St. Louis City Emergency Management Commissioner Sarah Russell is still on leave. This is pending an internal and external investigation about the sirens not being activated for the May 16th tornado. Mayor Kara Spencer says when both investigations are done, she will share the findings.
We will, yes. I think it's important that we share that information with the public.
So far, the internal investigation has wrapped up, but the external one is still ongoing.
A man is dead in Belleville after a shooting early Sunday morning, according to a post on the Belleville Police Department, or from them. Officers were called to the 500 block of North 40th Street. They found a 50-year-old man in the front yard suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Officers and EMS attempted to administer aid, but the man was pronounced dead at the scene. The department says the suspect has been taken into custody and is being held while the investigation continues.
A man accused of exposing himself in businesses is facing charges in St. Charles and St. Louis counties. Fox 2 says St. Louis County authorities charged 18-year-old Cornelius Johnson Jr. with one count of first-degree sexual misconduct. They're holding him on a $50,000 cash-only bond. He's scheduled to appear in St. Louis County Court this morning. He also faces 2 counts of sexual misconduct in St. Charles County.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe signing a new bill into law with the goal of recruiting and retaining first responders. The bill incentivizes people to work and stay on as first responders through increased educational opportunities.
It's a long-term investment in Missouri's public safety workforce and in the future of our communities and our Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development.
Governor Kehoe says now a first responder who serves 6 years can get free tuition to Missouri public colleges and universities, and after 10 years, their children can qualify.
The highly mobile Japanese beetles have made their way across the entire state of Missouri. The beetles first appeared in Stoddard, Barton, Christian, and Holt counties about 3 weeks ago. Avar Valmorbida is an entomologist with MU Extension. He says the Japanese beetles are considered pests in corn and soybeans.
So they feed on a variety of plant species, and that includes corn and soybeans. So in soybeans, they feed on foliage, and depending upon their abundance, it can lead to significant damage. In corn, Japanese beetles, they also feed the silk.
He was interviewed by MissouriNet. MU Extension's pest monitoring website offers an alert system for Japanese beetles and other pests.
Good news from the state of Illinois on measles cases. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. Dr. Samir Vora is the director of the Illinois Department of Public Health.
Today, I'm pleased to announce that the recent measles outbreak here in Illinois is officially over. Although we make this announcement knowing that the spread of measles continues to be a threat, it's a moment to reflect and acknowledge Illinois' public health efforts. Despite the soaring numbers of measles nationwide, the Southern Illinois outbreak was limited to 8 cases. Illinois had 2 additional isolated, unrelated cases in Cook County with no indication of further spread connected to those individuals. The end of the outbreak is especially noteworthy when we compare it to what is unfolding nationally. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported this week that we have seen 1,288 cases of measles nationwide so far this year. That's the highest number in 30 years for an illness that was considered eradicated in the United States in the year 2000.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, you've got a home to sell, and Gloria Liu is there for you. I think you should call Gloria because she can sell a home regardless of your situation, regardless of what's happening in the markets. It's just because Gloria has the buyers and Gloria has the systems. So while some agents or realtors may just put a sign in your yard and hope for the best, Gloria has so many ways to sell your home. And when she says that she has the buyers, she means that. A database full of buyers who are ready to buy a home, probably in your neighborhood. If there is a chance that you're looking to buy and sell a home, well, if you want to see any homes, a private showing or an open house, all you have to do is visit gloriahasthebuyers.com and click on the featured listings tab, or call Gloria directly at 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888. Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Roger Brand has an update from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got this crash in the construction zone, so it's not blocking the through lanes, but it's still out there northbound 55 or River to Pear. It's still a jam back between Union and Bayless on northbound 55, north 270. Big Bend up through Manchester, Clayton Road to Ladou's busy. South 270, south of Page to Ladou. There's a couple of smaller slowdowns. Eastbound 64 is heavy. McKnight through Hanley. Westbound 270 from 203 through the Canal Bridge toward the Chain Rocks is pretty busy. Downtown, westbound across the Poplar, though, everything looks great for you there. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Monday, July 14th. I'm Debbie Monterrey. At least 9 people dead, 30 others hurt in a fire at an assisted living facility in Massachusetts.
We'll meet the newest member of the St. Louis Board of Aldermen.
That is Scott Jagow. A 9-year-old Missouri girl has made her own horror film. Learn more about the Haunted Bell Down School premiering this weekend in St. Louis.
Parental burnout is a real thing. We'll find out how to take steps to reverse that.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Clouds will give way to some sun today with a stray afternoon thunderstorm, high 85.
A rapidly growing wildfire is causing destruction in the Grand Canyon.
It is time for CBS News at the Tone. It's 8 o'clock in Mid-America.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Fire tore through an assisted living facility in Fall River, Massachusetts last night.
My heart goes out to the families, those who were injured, and especially the 9 who lost their lives.
Fire Chief Jeffrey Bacon says at least 30 people were injured. Many had to be carried out because they couldn't walk. When police and firefighters arrived on the scene, officials say some Gabriel House residents were hanging out of windows, begging to be saved. Rescuers broke down doors to enter the smoke-filled building about 20 miles southeast of Providence. Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan.
It's horrible. I mean, this is the kind of thing you don't want in the middle of July, Sunday night, and the city explodes around a tragedy like this.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. Extreme heat and dry conditions are fueling fires burning out of control in 11 states in the West, one of them in the Grand Canyon National Park. CBS's Ian Lee reports from Tempe, Arizona.
Roaring through the North Rim, the Dragon Bravo fire destroyed the historic Grand Canyon Lodge. Originally built in the 1920s, it was rebuilt in the 1930s after a fire.
As Russia steps up airstrikes, President Trump is expected to announce new arms sales for Ukraine today. CBS's Weijia Jiang is at the White House.
Returning to the White House last night, the president said he is very disappointed in the Russian leader, who he has accused of throwing a lot of, quote, BS when it comes to ending the war with Ukraine. Trump told reporters he plans to send Patriot missiles to Ukraine, which is President Volodymyr Zelensky has been pushing for.
The president is facing increased backlash from supporters over the Justice Department's insistence there was no client list connected to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. CBS's Natalie Brand.
President Trump over the weekend took to social media to defend AG Bondi, saying that she's doing a fantastic job. He even had her in his luxury box at the FIFA World Cup over the weekend in a sign that he is standing by her. But some in the MAGA movement have signaled that this issue is not going away.
New numbers from the CDC show cancer deaths deaths linked to obesity have tripled in the U.S. over the last 2 decades. CBS's Wendy Gillette.
The study shows the increases in cancer deaths are particularly steep for women, older adults, Native Americans, and Black Americans. It evaluated more than 33,000 deaths from obesity-associated cancers.
Midwestern states had the highest rates, northeastern ones the lowest. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, July 14th. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. The same company developing the Millennium Hotel is the same behind Ballpark Village. Does the delay plans for their Phase 3 expansion around Busch Stadium?
I posed that question to Mike LaMartina, who oversees the St. Louis market for the Cordish companies. He says nothing is on the back burner.
Neither comes before the other or in place of the other. We feel confident in all of these things happening to continue to create the density, the activity, and the residential living and jobs for downtown St. Louis.
He adds, while the redevelopment of the Millennium Hotel is not officially a part of Ballpark Village, it could be viewed as such. The plans call for a $670 million redevelopment to create a $1.3 million square foot mixed-use space with multiple buildings and an amphitheater. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A new tax in Kirkwood that took effect earlier this month will soon be poured into roads.
And it is a dedicated tax to transportation. It will address street repairs, sidewalk repairs, those kinds of infrastructure needs.
Kirkwood Mayor Liz Gibbons says voters approved creation of the 15-year Transportation Development District in November. The half-cent sales tax expected to generate almost $3 million a year. The first projects to improve roads will begin this fall. St. Louis Bread Company changing its bread. The company, known as Panera outside of its hometown, is transitioning away from having in-store bakers to instead using partially baked frozen dough. KMOX got reaction from customers outside a South City Bread Co.
They got the best bread, no matter what.
Yeah, I definitely give it a shot. I wonder if it includes the bread bowls or not, because most of the bread I eat here is bread bowls.
Yeah, no, I get bagels and salads and sandwiches.
The battle over a beloved bakery on the Hill continues. The Missouri Baking Company on Edwards will be auctioned off after co-owner Camille Lordo, granddaughter of founder Stefano Gambaro, would rather let her family's legacy go than run it with Anthony Favazza. Lordo's brother sold his share to Favazza, and she tells the Post-Dispatch she doesn't like anything about him and that he's hurt too many people. In court last week, the two parties agreed to end the ownership group and sell the bakery founded 100 years ago. Favazza will attempt to buy it back, saying he wants it to be around for another 100 years. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe praising the St. Louis City Police Department for citing parents of kids who broke the law over the 4th of July holiday.
It's like any major city. Sometimes the bad actors come out when you have a major holiday, but I thought the chief's approach was unique.
Kehoe also praised the department for stats that show homicides are down in the city through the first half of 2025 compared to last year. He acknowledged more work needs to be done. Missouri's voter-approved paid sick leave requirements will come to an end in August. Governor Kehoe has signed a bill into law that will repeal the requirements, but will keep the $15 an hour minimum wage increase. Belton State Representative Sherry Gallick tells Missouri Net her concern is to keep businesses open and growing.
I want people to make as much money as they can, but every worker is not the same, and every job is not the same. Just one size doesn't fit all.
A reckless driver being chased by police caused a fatal crash, claiming 2 lives in Wood River, Illinois. Police tell our partners at Fox 2 the suspect sped off, ran a red light, and crashed into another car, which immediately caught fire. Both victims perished in the blaze. The suspect was injured and resisted arrest. Illinois State Police now investigating the incident. A man accused of exposing himself in businesses is facing charges in both St. Charles and St. Louis counties. Fox 2 says St. Louis County authorities charged 18-year-old Cornelius Johnson Jr. with 1 count of first-degree sexual misconduct, holding him on a $50,000 cash-only bond. Johnson is scheduled to appear in St. Louis County Court this Monday. He also faces 2 counts of first-degree sexual misconduct in St. Charles County. A Metro East Fire Department no longer has any firefighters. All 13 volunteers at the Church Road Fire Department walked off the job last week. According to a social media post, they resigned in protest after the sudden firing of their chief, Dwayne Carpenter. The department covers part of Cahokia Heights, but it's now closed and the locks have been changed. There were reportedly agreements with other departments to step in case of a fire or other emergency. The firefighters say they're proud to have served the community and saddened by the development. There's been no public explanation for why Carpenter was let go. Departing travelers at Lambert Airport yesterday were met with long lines and delays. Director Rhonda Homnebergy tells KMOX a large conference was trying to leave all at once.
We know that the Seventh-day Adventist Convention was in town, 70,000 people, which is huge. I mean, when they come in, all over the place.
She says some of the attendees of the convention arrived at the airport hours before their afternoon and evening flights, partially causing the congestion. Omnibergy adds the wait times returned to normal by about midday on Sunday. We'll check traffic and weather together in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Coming up on Total Information AM, we're going to talk about the goals for the newest member of the St. Louis Board of Aldermen. First, though, let's check on the roads this morning with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, there's still no change. The first crash we had of the morning before 6 a.m. still out there with us. Northbound 55 just before River to Pear. It's in the construction zone. It moved into there quickly after the crash occurred, so it hasn't blocked any lanes for a couple hours, but nonetheless, we're still jammed from Bayless up to River to Pear on northbound 55 right now. Northbound 270, that's still slow. Manchester up to Ladue. South 270 is thinned out. Eastbound 64 looks great out west, but it is slow from McKnight all the way through Big Bend. South 170 is busy at Brentwood Boulevard. Southbound 270 is thinned out downtown. We're okay. Westbound across the Poplar Street Bridge. You know, westbound 5570 is closed between 159 and 157. Folks are taking westbound 270. Some folks would go south on 255, but a lot of folks are going to continuing west because westbound 270 is jammed 203 through the Canal Bridge. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A humid day today with clouds and patchy fog to start, then some sunshine. There can be a pop-up thunderstorm this afternoon, high 85. Partly to mostly cloudy and humid tonight, though 73. Remaining warm and humid tomorrow with clouds and some sunshine. A shower and thunderstorm around, especially in the afternoon, high 86. For Wednesday, times of sun and clouds, hot and humid. A stray thunderstorm mainly in the afternoon, high 95. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We do have cloudy skies now, 72 degrees in Florissant, 73 in St. Peter, and 72 downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The newest member of the St. Louis Board of Aldermen sworn in Friday. Jamie Cox Antwi is the new 8th Ward alderperson. She won the special election to fill the seat left empty when Kara Spencer was elected mayor, and she joins us this morning in studio. Good morning and welcome to KMOX.
Good morning, Megan. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, congratulations. We were just talking off air that it's been a whirlwind for you. You didn't really have very long to campaign.
No, I didn't. I only had 70 days, and it's been a hectic 11 days since the election.
So now you're sworn in. I'm curious for our listeners who may not be familiar with you, or if they didn't meet you on the campaign trail, tell us a little bit about yourself and the experience that you bring to this role now.
Yeah, well, I am a lifelong St. Louisan. I was born and raised here, grew up in University City and live in South City with my husband and my daughter now. The reason that I ran for this is I really care about St. Louis. Being someone that's grown up in these communities, I wanted to be able to make a difference. And I'm really grateful that the 8th Ward trusted me with that honor. Like you said, my campaign was very, very quick. I only had 70 days since this was a special election. But I think for me, what resonated with my community is that I'm someone that comes with a lot of experience. I have a bachelor's degree in public policy from Vanderbilt, a master's degree in economics and business. And when you're someone that's going to represent the historic neighborhoods that I do and the central core of the downtown like I will, I think people want someone with experience that can come in and really do the work.
And I understand that you are already working on some initiatives through your regular day job with financing for affordable housing.
Yes, absolutely. So I work in community development finance. I've been in this industry for the last 5 years, and I come with a lot of experience helping neighborhoods across the nation build affordable housing, strengthen their communities. I've also served on a number of nonprofit boards locally in the area doing this work. And so I think that's really going to prepare me for what I know will be a long road of a lot of really potentially great projects coming to the city.
Will you have to be careful, though, in some of those votes because of conflicts?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm someone that's always been passionate about respecting conflicts of interest. I was actually very supportive of the conflict of interest policy that exists at the board to this day. So yes, absolutely. I'll be maintaining that.
What did you hear from voters as you were in that brief campaign?
I heard a lot of voters that are honestly just tired. A lot of people that are really nervous about the trajectory of the city of St. Louis. People were concerned about safety. They were concerned about crime in their neighborhoods. So a lot of voters that I talked to, people that have been here 20 and 30 years, some people were saying they weren't sure if they wanted to stay in St. Louis. And that was something that really was disheartening to me because, like I said, I do have a young family and I want to raise my family here. So I want people to be really excited about St. Louis again. And I think hopefully a lot of people feel optimistic about some of the things that I'm talking about and can hopefully change some of those minds.
We were just speaking with a demographer a couple of weeks ago here on KMOX about some of the population numbers, and younger families are becoming more rare. How do we get those young families back into the city?
Yeah, I think it starts with making St. Louis a welcoming place. I felt really fortunate that I had a lot of young people that wanted to come and volunteer for me because they were excited about my message. Some of them grew up in St. Louis. Some of them came here for college, going to our great universities like SLU and Washington University. So I think it starts with retaining some of that talent that's already attracted to St. Louis because of the great opportunities that we have here, and also making it an exciting place for family. In the 8th Ward, I represent Ballpark area, the America Center, Union Station, a lot of our really, really prominent attractions that families like mine want to go to. And so how do we make it so that people feel safe coming into our city and enjoying some of these great things that we have to offer?
Now, I know you're just settling in. You were just sworn in on Friday, as we mentioned. But one of the big things for alder people in the city of St. Louis is the ward capital that they have. Do you know at this point what remains in the ward that you can leverage for your ward?
I don't know that information yet, but you're absolutely right. That's something that's going to be critical for me coming in the middle of a session to make the investments in the community that I want to do. So I'm excited to learn more and get to work on it.
There's been some talk about whether, people on the Board of Aldermen can work more cooperatively with that ward capital. What are your thoughts on that?
I 100% agree. And I honestly think it's going to be necessary for us to. I know the Board of Aldermen just went through a really robust budget session to create our 2025-2026 budget. And in those conversations, we've realized we have a lot of work to do and not a lot of resources right now. That's something that I want to be intentional about, helping strengthen the city again so that we have more capital resources to do what we need to do. But in the meantime, I think it's going to be strategic, going to be working with a lot of the partners that I will have and my colleagues. I share downtown with Alderman Aldridge, who I really respect. I share and border a lot of historic neighborhoods with Alderman Cohn and Alderwoman Saunier. And so, again, I think it's recognizing those partnerships where we can work together and making sure that we can invest in the communities that we really care about together.
Now, you had Kara Spencer's endorsements, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering if you're just going to rubber stamp everything the mayor does or whether you have your own ideas about some things.
Absolutely not. And that's something that Mayor Spencer and I, in her conversations with me, were really intentional about. I think she endorsed me because she likes my ideas and she likes my confidence in what I have to say. And I think she recognizes that sometimes those ideas may not always match her own, but she respects my ability to be intentional about making decisions that are going to be best for her community. I think that's how she governed as an alderwoman. And I recognize that the city now trusted her to be mayor because of that intentionality.
So to wrap us up, what are your first priorities?
My first priorities are listening to my community. I want to be very intentional about making sure I serve every neighborhood that trusted me with this seat. So I will be going out, attending all of our neighborhood meetings and having conversations. I ran on a platform to make stronger neighborhoods and safer streets. And so those are the two areas that I'm going to focus on when I start preparing legislation. But we have an aldermanic session that won't be starting back up until September. So I have a lot of time to be really intentional about having conversations with my neighborhood, and that's what I'm going to do.
You know, I lied. One last question. I'm curious about your thoughts on city services and what you think needs to happen.
I think we need a lot more resources and intentionality on city services. To my point about stronger neighborhoods, it starts with having a city that actually works, right? A lot of my neighbors are concerned about trash, concerned about making sure that we can get our streets cleaned and picked up. And so I think the mayor's administration, to your point, was really intentional about getting to work on those things. And I want to be able to partner with her in that.
All right, Jamie, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming in studio with us this morning.
No problem, Megan. Thank you again for having me.
That is Jamie Cox-Antwi. She's the new 8th Ward alderperson for the city of St. Louis. Well, coming up this morning on Total Information AM, a 9-year-old Missouri girl has made her own horror film. We're going to learn more about the haunted Bell Down School premiering this weekend in St. Louis. She's going to join me in studio coming up at 8:41. And then parental burnout is a real thing. We will find out how to take some steps to reverse that. Make sure you listen. Just before 9 o'clock, Debbie Monterrey is going to talk to an author about what we can do to prevent that. It's now 8:19. Let's get a check of the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, 2+ hours later, a tow truck finally showed up on the scene for this crash, northbound 55 near River to Pear. This traffic reports the service of Terrace Senior Living of Eureka. It's been in the work zone the whole time. It's never been blocking the 2 through lanes ever since it occurred before 6 a.m. But they're still out there hooking up to the cars, so we still have a backup through Bayless on northbound 55 at this time. Northbound 270 Manchester up to 64. That's still slow. Eastbound 64, just brief delays right at the Interbelt. Not bad. Downtown, we're still clear across the Poplar. And we thinned out the jam we had, or at least pockets of traffic on westbound 270 from 203 to the Canal Bridge. That's all thinned out. It's just a little busy westbound at the Chain Rocks right now. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like it's going to be another humid day today, cloudy and some sunshine peeking through every once in a while. But we are expecting a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon, a high of 85 degrees. For tonight, partly to mostly cloudy, humid. An overnight low of 73. And then tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sun, another humid day, showers and thunderstorms once again possible with a high of 86. Currently, we have cloudy skies, 72 degrees now downtown at the Arch.
Check out the Terrace in Eureka for affordable senior living with 24-hour nursing supervision, delicious meals, medication management, and activities. The Terrace is affordable and will work with your Medicaid plan. Go to rspseniorliving.com and look for the Terrace Private Assisted Living.
Set my thermostat at 70, 65, 75, 80. Here's my advice to you. Set the thermostat exactly where you're more comfortable. The difference I would spend from 75 to 80, are you ready for your savings? Now remember, this is for 3 months. In my opinion, you could save $10 to $15 a month. Or I can say, I'm still uncomfortable, so lower it, 70 degrees. So now you're spending $10 to $20 more a month for 3 months. So let's just say to 20. Let's just get crazy and think that it's going to cost you $20 more a month for your comfort. That's $60 in 3 months. Do you have an extra $60? With that being said, if your system is not cooling, then call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Gobbler.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome.
You spit in today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
With Total Information AM here on KMOX, I'm Megan Lynch. President Trump teased last week that he would make a major statement on Russia today as Ukraine continues to struggle to repel some of the massive and complex air assaults launched by Russian forces. Let's get the latest on what that announcement might have in it. CBS News correspondent Natalie Rand joins us from the White House. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Megan.
What are we expecting from this announcement?
So we don't know the exact details of the announcement, but it comes as President Trump is hosting the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte here at the White House at 10 a.m. Eastern. So in about maybe 30 minutes from now, if things run on time. And we know that over the weekend, the president confirmed that the U.S. would be sending additional Patriot air defense missile systems to Ukraine. That's something that Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has been pushing for, requesting. The president noting that these systems would be paid for or the cost reimbursed by the European Union. So I think we can expect to hear details about how this relationship between sending additional weapons and the European Union contributing to that continued flow. We also know that there's been this bipartisan sanctions bill introduced in Congress with now more than 80 senators co-sponsoring it. And that's something that the president has been, considering. And the Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal, who introduced the bill over the weekend, were also talking about discussions to use, money from seized Russian assets to further help Ukraine. So there are a lot of different threads, but overall, they all kind of go back to sending additional military assistance to Ukraine and also putting additional pressure on Russia to come to the negotiating table, potentially, through sanctions or seized assets, et cetera.
What was the tipping point in this? Because Mr. Trump, it seems surprised with what he's seeing out of Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, from day one of his second term, he's really sought to try to wind down this conflict, saying that, he could bring peace. And now he's realizing and acknowledging that has been way more difficult than anticipated. And in part, different analysts. And if you kind of look at the comments, we've gone from the president saying that he thinks Putin wants peace to now expressing growing frustration and disappointment. A lot of people say he maybe thought his relationship with Vladimir Putin could help, wind down the conflict, bring him to the negotiating table. But Zelensky himself warned him that Putin is not trustworthy, that this would be very difficult, that you couldn't exactly take him at his word. Those were comments made by Zelensky during that, now infamous Oval Office clash. And now we're seeing kind of the tables turn here, where the president in recent weeks has expressed this mounting frustration with Russia, a closer relationship with Ukraine, realizing that maybe, trying to just communicate and open the lines of dialogue has not achieved the outcome he's been looking for.
That is CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand at the White House. Natalie, thanks again for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Coming up next on Total Information, we are going to talk with CBS News military analyst, retired Colonel Jeff McCausland. We're actually going to get the latest on the conflict between Russia and Ukraine and see what's been happening lately with some of the airstrikes, especially on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. That's coming up in just a moment here on KMOX. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. It's 8:28.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is Tom Ackerman for Gamma Tree Experts, a full-service tree care firm specializing in the preservation of your valuable trees. We have a lot of trees in our yard, and Tim Gamma and Tom Gamma and their outstanding staff make sure that they are well taken care of. In fact, they have now put me in the habit of taking a look at the health of our trees, plants, and shrubs. And if I have any questions, I can reach out to them at 314-725-6159, 314-725-6159, or just go to gammatree.com to learn more. Gamma Tree Experts, they will come right over and give us a full inspection, make sure that we know which trees are in trouble, which trees are doing just great. And if we end up having any storm damage, they will clean that up as well. They are Gamma Tree Experts, here since 1954. gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Markscorns, The Chris and Amy Show.
I would just like to say you guys are awesome. I've just been turned on to this since it's been on 104.1 at the FM dial, and I think you guys make me laugh, and you're informative. I just love you guys' show. You guys are amazing.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on 104.1 FM KMOX. And the free Odyssey app.
8:30, this is Total Information AM on KMOX. Let's check on your ride into work with Roger Brand. He is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, they have flatbed tow truck on the scene, so they're trying to get that crash wrapped up northbound 55 at River to Pear. This traffic reports the service of Siding Express. Been in the work zone the whole morning, so it's not blocking anything. And traffic now is just more of a slowdown Bayless to River to Pear, so it's better. It's the volume is diminishing there. We got new trouble on southbound 170. I can't see which lane is blocked, but there's a crash south 170 at Brooklyn Boulevard. It's a solid jam back between Olive and Delmar on southbound 170 and north 170. Gawkers are slow coming up from Highway 64. Northbound 270, just a little busy north of Manchester briefly. That doesn't look bad. Coming in from out west, eastbound 70 and 64, both great runs across the Missouri River Bridges. Downtown Poplar, Mutual Veterans Bridge are clear, and it's cleared out completely. Westbound 270 headed across the chain of rocks up north as well. Transform your home with the beauty and durability of James Hardie Siding. At Siding Express, we specialize in James Hardie siding installation. Visit sidingexpress.com today to schedule a free consultation. That's sidingexpress.com. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be humid today, cloudy with a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon. Expect a high around 85. Right now we have cloudy skies, 72 degrees in downtown St. Louis. As you heard moments ago here on KMOX, President Trump told reporters yesterday that the United States would be sending more Patriot missiles to Ukraine, and he has other announcements that he is hinting at today. Let's get the latest on the status of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. We turn now to CBS News military analyst, retired Colonel Jeff McCausland. Thank you for being with me this morning.
Hey, Megan, it's great to be with you.
So with the president saying that he'll be sending more Patriot missiles and the potential of more support for Ukraine, how could this make a difference there?
Well, it can make an enormous difference because we've seen an intensification, Megan, of missile and drone attacks by the Russians against Ukraine. In the month of June, for example, they launched more than 5,000 drones and missiles against Ukraine and are routinely now launching up to 500 drones overnight, along with several missiles, and resulting in several hundred Ukrainian civilians being killed and well over 1,000 being injured just in the past month. And that seems to be accelerating. So the Ukrainians are in desperate need, particularly of air defense systems, and that's why you turn to the Patriot, which is the most effective, particularly against missiles. And it appears now the president's going to move forward with a $300 million presidential drawdown authority, which will basically be identified as the Germans providing 2 Patriot batteries to Ukraine, Norway providing 1 that the United States has provided. So effectively, these particular systems will be purchased by our European partners or by NATO, but then provided to the Ukrainians.
What's the significance of getting NATO involved in this?
Well, NATO has been involved, obviously, throughout this, but I think what Mr. Trump is trying to do is 2 things. One, I think he's finally realized that his personal relationship with Putin, which he seemed to lean on when he said at the onset of his administration that he could end the war in 24 hours, is just not working, and he's been kind of played by Putin. So, one, greater U.S. involvement. But secondly, I think the president wants to see the Europeans take on a greater portion of that, at least in monetary terms, in providing military hardware to the Ukrainians.
What do you see happening now with the relationship between the United States and specifically President Trump with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky?
Well, it seems to have improved markedly since the big blow-up back in February. You might recall that Trump had even at one point in time described Zelensky, who was duly elected, as a dictator, and actually even suggested it was his fault the war in Ukraine had begun. We've moved a long way from that. They met on the periphery. You might recall the funeral of the Pope, which was a very positive meeting. They met again at the NATO summit just in the last few weeks. And as the president is meeting with Mark Rutte in the next few minutes at the White House as NATO Secretary General to talk about more aid, we also have Keith Kellogg, who's the president's special envoy on Ukraine, arriving in Kyiv today and having a very positive meeting by all descriptions with President Zelensky.
That is CBS News military analyst, retired Colonel Jeff McCausland. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Coming up, we're going to get your money report here on KMOX.
If you have an unpaid debt to the IRS that you can't pay, please hear this special notice. Specially approved IRS relief programs designed to aid delinquent taxpayers are now in effect that can significantly improve your financial situation. Depending on your circumstances, you may qualify to have your tax problem resolved in your favor and may even have your back taxes reduced by thousands or eliminated entirely. A relief hotline has been established by Community Tax for you to call and see if you qualify at 800-506-6012. If you owe the IRS back taxes that you can't afford to pay, don't let the IRS trick you into thinking you have no way out. Our highly accredited tax professionals will let you know what you qualify for and how much you can save. We may be able to stop all liens, garnishments, levies, and save you thousands. Call and see if you qualify for this taxpayer relief at 800-506-6012. 800-506-6012. That's 800-506-6012.
8:35 at 104.1 FM KMOX. Time for your money report. Sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. Tariff worries could pressure stocks in the early going today. Over the weekend, President Trump said he would impose 30% tariffs on the European Union and Mexico. The levies are set to go into effect on August 1st. The pace of the earnings reporting season is set to pick up. Big banks will be up first. We'll hear from JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo tomorrow. Bank of America opens its books on Wednesday. Amazon.com's Prime Day may have gotten off to a slow start, but it finished big. The event not only helped the e-commerce giant, but according to Adobe, it boosted online spending in the country for all retailers who also had their own sales event, like Walmart and Target, by more than 30% to $24 billion. According to Numerator, shoppers used the sale to stock up on household essentials. Amazon said the sale was bigger than expected. The company sold millions of house brand devices. On Wall Street, stocks lost ground on Friday. The major averages closing from 0.2% to 0.6% lower. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
the closer you get to retirement age, the more concerned you are about how much money you have in your retirement accounts, right? And then you start watching the news and you're watching the financial channels and the finfluencers and you're watching the ticker. It can be very nerve-wracking, especially with the crazy, tumultuous news. Jeff Sachs of Sachs Financial wants you to remember to put that plan in place.
The markets have gone up and down and been crazy. People have been questioning about the economy. And the one thing that I try and remind everybody is if you have a plan for your retirement, all of this is just noise.
At Sachs Financial, they simplify retirement and they take a load off your shoulders because whatever the market's doing today should not impact your retirement funds tomorrow. Sit down with Jeff Sachs and the team at Sachs Financial. No pressure, high information. You'll get along with him. He's a great guy and he will really put your mind at ease and put a plan in place so that you have what you need today and what you want in retirement. RetireSafeSTL.com.
The smartest way to do your homework is Heckman Lumber.
Warm weather means homework for homeowners. And for 80 years, Hackman Lumber has been the trusted name for home improvement. If your homework means a new deck, turn to the deck experts at Hackman Lumber. Browse the largest inventory of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. Talk with our experts about treated lumber, cedar, TimberTech, Trex, Envision, Decorators, and Duralife to find the perfect deck for you. Choose from endless railings, balusters, and LED deck lighting options. Hackman Lumber has been serving homeowners and pros for 80 years, and they will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials guaranteed. Whether you DIY with their expert advice or need a trusted contractor, Hackman has you covered. They are now an authorized steel dealer and stock a huge selection of grills. So celebrate summer with a new Big Green Egg, pellet grills, Weber gas, or charcoal grill, and all the accessories you need for the perfect backyard setup. Visit Hackman Lumber's showrooms in St. Charles, Pacific, and Troy, Missouri, or HackmanSTL.com.
Baseball fans, this is your night. LaRussa's Rescue Champions and the PenFed Foundation for Military Heroes invite you to celebrate Cardinals championships this Wednesday, July 16th at 6:45 p.m. at the Stiefel Theater. Relive the Cardinals' greatest moments from 2000 to 2011 with legendary players, epic game highlights, behind-the-scenes stories, and tributes to the 60s and 80s title runs. Every ticket supports incredible nonprofit causes. Don't miss it, Cardinals Nation.
Cloudy skies, 74 degrees at 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. The new tax law signed by President Donald Trump creates a federal tax deduction for interest on auto loans. Starting this year, taxpayers can deduct up to $10,000 of interest annually on loans for new vehicles assembled in the United States. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe praising the St. Louis City Police Department's focus on parents of kids who broke the law over the 4th of July. Coming up, meet the 9-year-old creator of a horror film premiering in St. Louis this weekend. First, though, we need to get you on your way to work. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Things any better on 55, Roger?
Yeah, well, they're still out there, Megan. Yeah, the traffic's getting better, though, because they haven't been blocking anything for almost 3 hours, 2+ hours now. This traffic report service at Glory Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. So 55 looks like he's doing pretty good now, coming up through Weber to River to Pear. That's where that crash has been in the construction zone all morning. Tow truck on the scene still has to pick up this one last vehicle. The trouble spot now is on southbound 170. You got a crash at Brentwood Boulevard with lane blockage. Traffic's a solid jam on South 170 back through Olive. And eastbound 64 from McKnight to the North 170 ramp is slow going up past that area. Taking a look at the southbound activity, 270 around 64 Ladue, that's still a little slow. Downtown, we're clear across the bridges, and it cleared out westbound 270 headed through North County, or Madison County into North County, rather. That alternate route to the closure of 5570 westbound between 159 and 157. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
A horror film written and produced by a 9-year-old set to premiere at the St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase later this week.
They all went to that school. It's abandoned, forgotten, and haunted by the spirits of teachers and children who met a horrific fate within its walls. Killed by their teachers, so the stories say.
Can we go see it?
Promise me you'll never go near that school. Promise me you'll stay safe.
We promise.
It's called The Haunted Bell Down School.
Did you feel that? It's just the wind. That's not the wind.
And in studio with me this morning, the creator, Willa Kate McCarter. Thank you, Willa, so much for coming in with us this morning.
Oh, thank you.
So why a horror movie?
Well, I always liked horror since I was like really little. Because I always watched these like videos on YouTube of their use at time. It was like in like 2021 or something. Like there's these like a lot of creators make these villain videos, and I like to watch those. And ever since that, I've always been into horror.
You're an actress as well, correct?
Yes, I am.
So from what I understand, you really wanted something that would be something you would want to act in. Is that correct?
Yeah, I wanted to make something that I can, like a horror movie that I can act in, because I thought it would be cool to act in a horror movie, because I always thought they were so cool.
Well, without telling us everything, because we don't want spoilers, we want people to see your movie and get excited and scared by it, but give us just a little bit of the story.
Okay, well,
It's a haunted school?
Yeah, it's a haunted school, and there's 3 homeschoolers, and they've one has dyslexia, one has ADHD, and one has I forgot what it's called. Obsessive compulsive or something like that.
Okay.
It's something like that, I think.
Why those characters? Why did they have those challenges that they're facing?
Because fun fact about me, I have dyslexia.
Okay.
And I included characters where I had those things because that way people can feel included.
Okay. And you're homeschooled as well, correct?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So you've really put a lot of yourself in this movie then.
Yes.
Are there a lot of really scary things that jump out?
Kind of. And some little bit and scary, some sound effects.
Okay. Why don't these 3 young people listen to the warnings not to go in that school?
Because 2 of them don't really believe in ghosts and think it's just all a myth.
Okay. How long is this film?
Probably about 12 minutes long.
12 minutes. So it's a short film. So how did you put this all together? Who did you get to film it, and who did you get to act in it? How did all that come about?
Well, I had Trevor and Pierce. Pierce is the one who filmed everything, and Trevor's the director.
I understand you've had a lot of support to put this together.
Yeah. And I also, for some of the actors, hold on. Let me think. So Piper and Tristan. Those are the 2 characters that the 2 other homeschool kids. Then another person I acted was Kelly, and 2 others I forget their names. So yeah, and it was really fun. We also had a makeup artist.
Okay. What are you going to wear to your big show premiere? Do you have your outfit picked out?
Well, yes, but I wanted to keep it a surprise.
Okay. I totally get that. What do you hope that people get out of your movie?
Well, I hope they think it's scary and cool and original for all the homeschool and things, and I hope people with those disabilities feel included.
How long did it take you to write the screenplay for this?
Couple months.
Couple months. Did you have to make a lot of edits?
We did little short little videos that we posted to fundraise for the movie. So yeah.
What's your next project?
Well, there might just be a sequel.
Oh, okay.
And and filming is pretty soon.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in studio. We hope this is a great success. The movie is called The Haunted Bell Down School. It is going to premiere this weekend at the St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase. It's July 19th, 7 p.m. at the High Point Theater. Willa Kate McCarter, thank you so much for coming in studio, and we wish you the best success.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see it. Coming up next on Total Information AM, are you a post-traumatic parent? Are you burnt out? Debbie Monterrey is going to tell us how we can get beyond that next.
1041 FM, KMOX, News, Talk, Sports.
Baseball, it returns Friday night when they take on the D-backs.
Cardinals Radio, 1041 FM, KMOX.
KMOX and 97.1 FM Talk are proud to support the first ever Brendan Donovan Charity Clay Shoot, happening Thursday, August 7th at Staffelman Farms Club in Weldon Spring. Join Cardinal standout Brendan Donovan, teammates, and local celebrities for a day of clay shooting and community, all to benefit Team Red, White, and Blue, and their mission to support veterans' health and wellness. Sponsorships and shooter spots are going fast. Visit teamrwb.org/Donovan now to sign up. Show your support and make a difference for those who have served. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
The Dave Glover Show.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, now on FM, 1041 FM, KMOX.
You're back with Total Information AM. Here's Debbie Monterrey.
I think most of us are a little paranoid about our parenting, if we're being honest with ourselves. But how do you break that cycle? What if you are parenting in a post-traumatic way? Well, Robin Koslowich is the author of Post-Traumatic Parenting, Breaking the Cycle and Becoming the Parent You Always Wanted to Be. Robin, first of all, how do we know if we're post-traumatic parenting, and what does that mean?
So I think that anybody who's experienced something that's a little too big for their brain to metabolize is probably a post-traumatic parent. Since COVID, I feel like we're all post-traumatic parents, but the idea that, you're disproportionate with your kids. You yell when you meant to talk calmly. You're spacing out when you meant to pay attention. You're saying yes when you really meant to say no. Usually there's a reason for that, and a lot of times that reason is some traumatic experience you've had that's reprogrammed you that way.
Interesting. So if we do catch ourselves doing these things, what's the first step? How do we stop doing that?
So the first step is to notice that it's our trauma that's activating and getting us to do that. Like, why did I get so enraged at a 4-year-old, right? He's only 4. What made me go from 0 to 60 so fast? Why did I not say no to that movie that I know is too violent for my kid? Why couldn't I hold firm with that no, right? The minute that I say, oh, this is happening here, then I need to make a plan for what am I going to do next time. And sometimes it's as simple as during the right after school or right after day camp period, I'm going to sing my instructions instead of yelling them. Or there's always going to be a rule, no matter what you want to watch, you have to wait and you have to give me 10 minutes to think it over before I answer you, or the answer is automatically a no. But the idea is, now that something went wrong, what measures do I have to put into place to understand what did my trauma tell me to do? Why am I going to do something differently? Because it's often that moment to pause that lets us respond differently.
One of the interesting things, I think, is when you say that discomfort is not dangerous. We don't like to sit in any discomfort, whether it's ourselves or we don't like to see our kids in any kind of discomfort. So how is that becoming a problem?
So I think this is a problem really, especially nowadays. Some of this comes from social media and some of it just comes from our human desire not to feel that stress response. But it's not uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. It's not dangerous to feel stress and do nothing with it. I really want to yell at this kid right now, and I'm just going to hold on to that feeling. I won't die, right? My child is really mad at me right now. They really wanted a yes, and I gave them a no. Nothing terrible will happen. They'll simply be upset. That will be okay. But we mistake, especially if we've been traumatized, we mistake discomfort for danger. And then we want to shut it down and shut it down and shut it down. But we know that real growth happens when we learn to embrace the discomfort. I myself was very shy as a child. And today I do a lot of public speaking. When I learned that I'll feel uncomfortable. That's okay. I won't die. I will just feel uncomfortable. Eventually, doing that over and over again made me comfortable.
How do we know if, when people hear the word trauma, they think, oh, it has to be some big, horrible, terrible event. But trauma, as you mentioned, could just be going through a horrible period like COVID. But also, a lot of us are just really stretched super thin. We just don't seem to have a lot of emotional bandwidth sometimes to deal with our kids. How do we know if we're having trauma responses or we're just burned out?
So I feel like post-traumatic parents in particular are very susceptible to burnout because we try to do parenting perfectly. And if you think of a job where the standards are always shifting, you never know if you're doing it right or not. The stakes are very high and you're on 24 hours. That is a high recipe for burnout in the employment world. That's a high recipe for burnout in parenting. I think we used to be afraid to say that parents could burn out because it's just a threatening thought. But the research does show that parents burn out, and post-traumatic parents in particular are going to burn out at higher rates. And of course, once you're burned out, it's harder to feel pleasure. It's harder to feel satisfaction. You're like running on a broken leg every single day. And when you're a parent, the morning starts with a sprint and then it's a steady marathon all day long. So you really can't be running on a broken leg. So I think it's important to say, if you're burning out, number one, I am burning out and it's okay to admit it. And number two, I need to take real steps to make sure that this burnout doesn't continue, because burnout is very hard to recover from once it's advanced.
The book is Post-Traumatic Parenting, Break the Cycle and Become the Parent You Always Wanted to Be. Dr. Robin Koslowitz, thanks so much. It's great food for thought. We really appreciate the time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciated this conversation.
It's now 8:54 here on KMOX, and it was a year ago that a 20-year-old gunman opened fire on President Trump from the rooftop of a nearby building during a campaign rally. The president grazed in one ear by one of the bullets. One rally-goer was killed, two others critically wounded in that shooting. The gunman, Thomas Crooks, shot and killed by a Secret Service sniper. Evan Vucci, the Associated Press photographer who took the photo of then-candidate Trump raising his fist in defiance as agents pulled him away from the podium, reflects on that day.
I was on the campaign trail covering then-candidate Donald Trump. It was a normal rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. I've done this 1,000 times before. It's like any other rally. He's going to come out. He's going to, do his dance, give a talking point, and he was going to leave. But this particular day, I was set up in the buffer area that's right in front of the lectern where we usually set up. I was about, 5-10 feet away from the candidate Trump. Over my left shoulder, I heard a series of pops, and I knew right away what it was. I knew right away by the rhythm of it, it was gunfire. And from that moment on, I knew that this was going to become the most important thing I've ever covered in my career. At first, I was set up on the left side of the stage and I wasn't seeing anything because he was blocked by all the agents. And then eventually he wanted to stand up and they were going to stand him up. And I knew then that he was going to go off the other side of the stage. And so I ran to the other side to get a better vantage point. And he came to the front of to the microphone and started pumping his fists. And then he walked down those stairs and off to his vehicle. But that's where I made the photo that a lot of people have seen of him walking off with his hand raised in the air. But I knew exactly where he was going to go. Everyone wants to talk about the one image, right? But, I think what I'm most proud of that day is I work for the Associated Press, and we have a long line of stellar photojournalism. Joe Rosenthal with the flag raising in Iwo Jima, Napalm Girl in Vietnam. There's just dozens and dozens of history-telling photographs. And there is a particular standard that as a photographer you are expected to hold. And I'm most proud of not the images I made that day, but when it was my turn to hold that standard and do the job to the best of my ability and tell this story to the public and do my job as a journalist, I was able to do that. So as far as like the one image that people are calling iconic, you know, that's actually none of my concern. What my concern is, like, when it was my turn and the chips were down, I did the job to the best of my ability, and I was able to hold the line, hold the standard, and I will forever be the most proud of that.
That is Associated Press photographer Evan Vucci.
Crazy long lines at Lambert this weekend. Did you get stuck waiting to get into Terminal 2? Plus, comedian Pat McGann, he opened for Sebastian Maniscalco. He joins us. It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Tom Ackerman here. If you are running a business, launching a brand, or leading a team, the nitrous effect might be the creative advantage you didn't know you needed. The nitrous effect. It's not just one agency. It's a collective of creative services that are St. Louis based, founded by Keith Alper, local entrepreneur, creative visionary. The nitrous effect includes some names you probably already know: the CPG agency, Up Brand, Eventive. These are folks who bring experiences and brands